You're watching The American on ESPN. It's a homecoming celebration that dates all the way back to 1919. South Main hopping on a gorgeous Saturday. The Owls in the middle of a four-game homestand as they get ready to welcome UAB to historic Rice Stadium. Both teams right now near the bottom of the American, but it's the overall win total that we're keeping an eye on. Both teams feel they have enough in the tank to get to 6 wins and become bowl eligible. And a pleasant good afternoon. Sean Kinney alongside Florida State national champion Forrest Conley. We'll check in with Smacker Miles in a moment. Forrest, this is crunch time for these two teams. Numbers never lie, and it's a race to 6 wins. For Rice, in essence, it's a 3-game season. UAB with 4 games to finish strong.
Well, it's interesting, the coaching staff, both of them tried to downplay the fact that this is for getting to a bowl game. And we know that this is what they want to do. They talked about, hey, it's just a 1-game season. We're not talking about what's happening in the future. We're not talking about who we have to play. But, you know, they're looking at it, and they know that this is a must-win for both of these programs. So it'll be interesting to see what their approach is when we start this football game.
These are two offenses that completely operate in opposite ways. Rice loves to run the football. UAB will throw it all over.
Well, that's the contrast that we will see in this football game. And for Rice, they want to eat up that clock, and they want to convert early on early downs.
Rice has been a slow starting team. That's been a point of emphasis. For more on that, we swing it down to Smacker, who's with Coach Scott Abel.
Coach, you've emphasized starting fast. How do you build a lead early?
Well, we got to execute early, right? And we got to play with a lot of enthusiasm and passion. We're in front of our home crowds, homecoming. I expect great things early on from our squad.
Thanks, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Smacker. So, Forrest, this is an offense last week for Rice in the loss to Memphis that had 5 consecutive 3-and-outs to start a game. And this offense isn't built to come from behind.
Well, it starts on early downs. They've got to get positive yards. They got to play ahead of the sticks. They were behind the sticks early last week, and they became a very predictable offense on 2nd and 3rd down, and that is what put them in a position to have those 5 3-and-outs.
Chase Jenkins, the redshirt sophomore, back at the quarterback position this year for Rice, and he had to learn a brand new offense, and an offense that puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback with the gun choice, but he has handled it so well and has been a staple for this offense. When he goes, the Owls offense go. Alex Mortensen, it is game 3 with the interim label. Trent Dilfer fired one day after UAB lost their 3rd straight game to Florida Atlantic. So it has been Mortensen's show, and here he is on the road, his first ever trip to historic Rice Stadium, and we are underway. Ryder Burton came out, made his first career start in the huge upset against Memphis, and he came out gunning. Jalen Kitna injured, and a huge day for Burton in his debut.
What makes Burton such a weapon for this ball club is his ability to run the football. He can extend plays with his feet, and he makes the team on defense have to play against 11 offensive players. When you don't have a quarterback that's a quarterback that can run the football, you're basically facing 10 offensive players. Now with his ability to run the football, you've got 11 that you have to be worried about.
Did not start last week, came out of the bullpen. In fact, just the 3rd series of the game is when they made the move to him. Jalen Kitna still dealing with a couple of upper body injuries as they try to get the ground game going over the left side to Solomon Beebe.
And one of the things I'm going to look for early is the tackling from this Rice defense. They had a lot of missed tackles last week. You look at the first touchdown that was ran by the quarterback from Memphis last week. There were 5 missed tackles on the quarterback during that play. And, you know, defenses usually like to get shots on the quarterback when they get the opportunity to, and they were not able to bring him down. So I'll look for that early from this defense.
Antonio Ferguson, the H-back to the right. Burton stumbled, now trying to bounce it wide, but he is tracked down there by Chibi Nuajuaku. And an all defense throughout the course of the year, as you talked about, Forrest, missed tackles, and that has been a focus, 20 of them against Memphis a week ago.
And we talked to Coach Abel about that, and he said what they did is they went back to the fundamentals this week. They talked about wrapping up, going low, going for the legs of the running backs, of the ball carriers, as opposed to going up high and going for the ball fakes.
First 3rd down of the afternoon for the Blazers. They have it at the 30, opening drive of this game. Burton with initial time, nothing open, under pressure, down he goes, sacked back at the 25. Nuajuaku, the redshirt junior from Cypress, Texas.
And you see on the outside, that is what you're looking for from your defensive ends. You want to get pressure up the field. The offensive tackle has to do a better job of setting deeper, getting a deep kick step, keep those shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, not giving up a short corner to that defensive end.
Rice has been waiting for the emergence of one of their young defensive rush ends to step up, and a good opening series for Nuajuaku. On the return, out past the 30, up to the 34-yard line goes Tyson Thompson. Rice offense that is one of the best in the country at running the football. Their point of emphasis with the gun choice, operated by quarterback Chase Jenkins.
And what was interesting, when we talked to David Stickle yesterday, he said, hey, we feel like as an offensive line that we're going to hit it out of you. We're going to make you not want to play football by the end of the football game. We feel like we have more of a physical attitude than any team that we play in the trenches.
On first down, Jenkins to the boundary side, late pitch, but it's strung out beautifully by UAB. Pickup of 2 yards as they go to Aaron Turner, the scat back that they like to use all over the place.
And that's an interesting play to start the game. I thought we would see more of the inside zone, attacking the interior of that defense between the tackles. That is where their bread and butter is on this Rice offense.
Second down and 9, looking to set up the screen near side. Drayden Dickman with the catch, but he is wrapped up immediately. Nowhere to go, as that was Eddie Tusum, the senior. Not fooled, and he was right there with the speedster Dickman.
And Tyson Thompson has to do a better job of blocking on the perimeter. If he makes that block, he allows for Dickman to get inside leverage and get up the field. But it starts with Tyson Thompson, number 11, making that block on the perimeter.
Tusum, the senior linebacker for the Blazers, coming off a really good offseason, having his most productive year. Third down and long, they will chase Jenkins, and he is pursued, lost the football, and the Blazers come away with the game's first takeaway. A defense this year that has only created 5 turnovers. It's scooped up by Tylen McNichols, and a huge start for UAB on the road.
And this play started out bad for Rice. There was initial pressure up the field by Maury Morris, and he did a good job of not allowing the quarterback to get to the outside and then getting his hand in there and stripping that football as the quarterback tried to turn up the field. Watch number 4 right there. A good job of swinging it out and then getting his hand in there and stripping the football out. Jenkins has to do a better job of keeping that ball high and tight when he turns into a running back. That's one of the transitions for a quarterback that's able to run the football. You have to remember, when you turn into a running back, the ball has to get high and tight to protect it from those defenders.
So can Burton and this offense take advantage of it? Just the 4th lost fumble all season for Rice. UAB shifts the tight ends off to the right side. Play fake. Burton whips it out near side. Pass is caught along the 30. Tracked down to the 26-yard line. It is Evan McCray with his 8th catch of the year, the 5th-year senior from Raleigh.
And one of the things Levant Johnson has to make sure that he does is keep outside leverage. He almost allowed McCray to get to the outside. What you want to do as a defender is keep outside leverage, because you've got pursuit coming from the inside. What you cannot do is what he almost did, which is give up that outside, because if he does, McCray is able to skirt up the sideline and there would be no defenders. So make sure you keep that outside leverage. And I'll look for that moving forward.
There are so many weapons in the receiver room for Alex Mortensen and company. Second down, they play fake it to Beebe. Again, Burton stumbled, takes a shot toward the end zone, caught for the touchdown. It's Iverson Hooks. 26 yards.
You see Levant Johnson signaling to the official that he got away with the push-off. And you can see Hooks at the end of this play get a small bit of a push-off to create separation, the separation that he needed to get to the football. You couldn't see it on that replay, but earlier when the ball was in the air, Hooks got a little bit of separation using a push-off.
Hooks having a career year for UAB, and he has quickly built a tight chemistry with Ryder Burton. 26 yards, They take advantage of the fumble, and UAB not wasting any time. Ryder Burton, the redshirt sophomore, making just his second career start. He has found a friendly target. Despite the slip, he throws a strike. Hooks, holds it in. UAB fires the opening salvo. Little bit of a different start for Ryder Burton this week, coming off the bench a week ago. His very first pass play intercepted. Well, today he is able to throw the touchdown. Iverson Hooks, UAB taking advantage of the fumble recovery deep in Rice territory, and Burton and the Blazer offense, 2 plays, 34 yards, and both these coaches stress striking first today, and it's UAB able to do it thanks in part to the defense creating the opportunity.
And a good job by Burton not panicking when he slipped after he got the snap and locating his receiver. I like the young player showing a poise, something you don't see often.
From the 5, this is Jackson getting to the outside. Quentin Jackson returns it out to the 38-yard line. You go back a couple of weeks ago, Ryder Burton and UAB pulled off one of the shockers in college football, hooking up with Iverson Hooks, the first of 3 touchdowns for Hooks. UAB goes up 31-17. Memphis comes roaring back. Christian Ross with a 37-yard touchdown reception to make it 31-24. And then Memphis, one last chance. This play ruled incomplete. UAB pulls off the upset. They knock off Memphis 31-24. And quite an inaugural head coaching debut for the young 39-year-old Alex Mortensen.
For the UAB defense is the eye candy. You've got the pistol set, but you've got 2 backs set behind the quarterback, so you have to be able to understand what you're seeing and not go for the eye candy. There's a lot of moving parts, so they want to get people moving in a different direction, and that's the one thing that the coaching staff from UAB talked to us about, not going for the eye candy.
Inside zone, and it opens up. Big hole over the left side for Jackson as he plows his way into plus territory.
And you see right there, you've got Tyson Thompson, number 11, coming in motion, so they're looking at that area, and you see everybody going with Tyson Thompson, and you get the dive play to Quentin Jackson, and Quentin Jackson is one of those backs that presses the hole. So if you take your eye off of him for one split second, paying attention to what you see with Tyson Thompson going across the back of the formation, now you've missed Quentin Jackson.
What a year it's been for Jackson as the featured running back in this offense. They go right back to him. And for us, we talked to David Stickle, the 2-year starting center for Rice, and he said the one thing that really surprised him about Jackson, how hard he hits the hole. And there's been the occasion or two where he smacks into the back of Stickle, and he feels it. He's 160 pounds, but it is a powerful frame.
When I turned on the film and I saw this guy, you're looking at him, Sean, and you're saying, okay, very small stature. He's more of a scat backer guy. You get out in space, you get into him, you know, on some of these flat routes. But then all of a sudden I saw them handing him the ball off, and he's going downhill. You know, he's not looking to bounce it outside. He's looking for contact, and he runs behind his pads, and that's what makes him so impressive.
DeAndre Hardiman, a good-looking true freshman into the game. He gets his first touch as he takes it up to the 40, a gain of 3.
And Hartman is more of a battering ram at 5'8", 200 pounds. So he's got a low center of gravity as well. So that's one of the things that's more difficult as well. You've got backs that are not very tall. They play with a natural low center of gravity, and you have to be able to get lower than these individuals to get them down.
3rd down and a yard right back to Hardiman, straight up the gut. And he will move the sticks. A 1st down, gain of 6 up to the 34.
And once again, you see, because of the action in the backfield, you've got linebackers that are stagnant for a minute. They're watching that pitch action. Once they diagnose that he doesn't have the pitch, the back is already 4 or 5 yards upon them. It's when I talk to the coaching staff, one of the things I mentioned, I say, hey, you've got to be part Einstein, part Hulk. You know, in the Einstein, you've got to figure out and diagnose where it is, be smart about it. Then when you find out where it is, then you've got to go in there and you've got to be a destroyer and try and blow up the play. Well, the thing about that, as a linebacker, your instincts are to come downhill. But as you see all of that action moving around left and right, east and west, you have to keep your eyes on that. And it's a natural instinct for your head to turn. And as you do that, and you've got something coming downhill at you, he's already 4 or 5 yards upon you.
Defensive coordinator Steve Russ talked about how you can really wear out as a defensive line with all the chasing of players that really aren't designed to be a part of the play. And they can wear out up front, and that was going to be a concern as they continue to stick in between the tackles on this drive. A steady dose of DeAndre Hardiman right now back to Quentin Jackson, setting up a very manageable 3rd and 2. Rice staying on schedule, something they struggled with last week with Memphis. Here is some resistance. UAB able to blow up the hole in the interior. Josiah Peterson, the first one in there.
It was something we talked to the coaching staff from UAB yesterday, and I asked defensive coordinator Steve Russ, I said, hey, you know, with the type of offense they run, are you fearful that they might get into a tempo plan? And he said, we hadn't seen tempo from this team, but you never know what to expect. And it's interesting, we're seeing tempo from this offense right now. They're lining up at the line of scrimmage. They're not wasting time. They're not allowing UAB to get any substitutions in.
Well, within Goda's field goal range, but they elect to go for it. 4th down, Turner with some work to do, and he will pick up the 1st down.
And for the first time, they give it to the pitchback. They have run that dive play often, all throughout the afternoon. They're paying attention to the dive, and they finally get it to the pitch man. You see Aaron Turner coming across the jet sweep action. A good job on the outside by Quentin Jackson with the lead block, allowing his teammate to get up the field. But once again, when you've run that dive so many times, everybody's focused on that dive play.
Good job by Thompson as well. They got a chip block in. Open out of the backfield. Touchdown, Rice. Thompson, who just threw one of the key blocks in that last 4th down conversion, using his hands on this one, 23 yards.
this offense, it's like a play-action feel to it because everybody's thinking you're going with the dive, you're going with the pitch, and Thompson sneaks out, and you have nobody covering him because everybody's eyes are glued on the quarterback to see who he's handing the football off to. So once again, that eye candy, it gets you attracted, it attracts you, it makes you want to be around it and look at it and stare at it. And just as you think you've got it figured out, they pull the ball back, they get it to the outside, and you see the big play by the offense once again. Getting it to the outside, getting it to Thompson. Nobody goes with him. Everybody looks at the ball carriers, and a touchdown for Rice, and they're on the board.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Beautiful afternoon here in Houston, South Main. Ryder Burton and UAB 7-7 after Burton threw his 6th touchdown of the year. He watched Rice march it down the field, 10 plays, 62 yards, a little more than 4.5 minutes off the game clock, and 7-7 score between two teams desperate to get a win as we swing it down to Smacker.
UAB will take over at their own 25-yard line.
He said he has a machine-like ability to recognize defenses, and he makes it simple for his players. He also really prioritizes protecting the quarterback. And Burton said he dreams of having a clean pocket, and if that happens, he knows he'll have a good day. We saw some of that on the first drive.
Yeah, we certainly did. Grew up in Springville, Utah, started his career at BYU, spent a year at West Virginia, did not get on the field at either location, but again, after the Memphis game, really asserting himself and the relationship that he has built with Alex Mortensen. Very comfortable with this offense, and he has plenty of weapons like Javon Jackson. That never hurts a thing either. 3 really talented running backs with Jackson, Isaiah Jacobs, and Solomon Beebe. They go empty as they put Beebe The bottom of the screen, 2nd down and 8. Pressure off the edge. Good job by Burton trying to buy some extra time, but he is tripped up in open field. Excellent work there by Alway.
And that play started on the outside by the pressure by Tony and a Winyu. And that is what you want to do. You want to flush the quarterback out the pocket. Andrew Alway got to the outside, was able to use his speed to get to the quarterback, but it started by the immediate pressure on the outside by Andrew Winyu. And that is what you want to see from your defensive ends. Get up the field, pressure that quarterback, get him out of his comfort zone.
Alway enjoying a career year. It's his first sack of the season. Loss of 5, 3rd down and 12. Burton with a clean pocket, zips it downfield, overshot his guy. Burton knew he missed an opportunity, and it's a 3 and out for UAB.
And he had an opportunity right there because Marcus Williams was paying attention to the opposite side of the field. The safety has to keep his eyes on the quarterback. If you see someone breaking to the outside, you've got to get a cleaner and earlier break. Marcus Williams was late breaking to that side of the field, and Burton had what he wanted. He just put too much on the football.
Patrick Foley on the punt. Thompson, who has the touchdown catch, awaiting the punt back around his 30. Here comes Rice, and they got to it. Punt was tipped. Bounces up ahead for UAB. Takes a really fortuitous bounce for the Blazers. Finally comes to a rest. The Rice special teams able to generate some pressure right up the middle. Patrick Foley had it partially blocked.
Media timeout on the field.
Straight up the gut. Complimentary football for the Owls early here at historic Rice Stadium. The American on ESPN Plus is home to 40-plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. Following the partially blocked punt, excellent starting position for Rice, and this is DeAndre Hardiman moving the pile. The true freshman out of local product North Shore, and they have a couple of freshmen in this running back room with Tyvon Byers and DeAndre Hardiman really high on him.
Well, one of the things that's happening is the offensive line is doing a good job with these tandem blocks, and that's double teaming those down linemen up to those second level defenders. And that is why they've been so successful running the football early.
A little bit of a twist with this formation. They bunch everybody up to the top. It's a design draw as they run the quarterback Jenkins, falling ahead close to a first down, a pickup of 2, setting up a 3rd and short.
And you saw what they did. They cleared out the defense. They got all the defenders to the outside, hoping what they could do is sneak Jenkins up through one of those seams to get that first down. I like the idea of the play call, but when you've been so successful running the ball with your backs and them not being able to stop what you do, why go away from that?
Jenkins, one of the team captains, healthy for this final month of the year as Hardiman lowers the pads, gives ground, and UAB comes up with a 3rd down stop. McNichols was the first one to hit him. Jonathan Allen finished the job.
And you see right there, they sold out. Everyone crashed downhill, got inside. Good push at the point of attack, allowing for the defender to get away, disengage, and get on top of the back. I like going forward right here. What your specialty is, getting downhill. I think you challenge your offensive line to get those double teams, get movement at the point of attack. All you need is a yard.
2nd, 4th down opportunity for Rice. They converted earlier, and they will convert again with Hardiman. Snowed under at the 37. Rice 2 for 2, rolling the die in plus territory in this first quarter.
And one of the more difficult things for this UAB defense is all you've heard all week long. You've got the 16th ranked rushing team in the country. They're going to run the football. That's what they want to do. We've got to sell out, sell out, sell out, sell out to stop the run. And then all of a sudden they hit you with a pass play. So you've got to be prepared for that. But until you stop them, if I'm Rice, I'm going to continue to go to the well with the dive play.
Right on cue, behind the right guard for 2 yards.
And we talked about them being predictable, Sean. This is what you don't want to do, is only get 2 yards on first down. You want to get 4 to 5 yards. Now you open up that playbook a little bit.
5-man front, 2nd down, running the option. They pitch it. Turner upended low, torpedoing in and making the stop. In the secondary position, Perry Fisher, who's going to have to step up. No Pierre Royster. He did not make the trip, so Fisher coming in. Maryland transfer with a good play.
An excellent job on the outside by Tyler McNichols to stretch that play out, making Jenkins make the decision. That's what you want to do as a defender. Make the quarterback make the decision. You don't want to make the decision. The quarterback wants to make you, the defender, make the decision. Defender, you want to make the quarterback make the decision.
Rice with a more than 2-to-1 edge offensively in this first quarter. 3rd down and long. Jenkins to the boundary side, gets to the edge, pushed out of bounds, and this will be close to a first down. We'll see where they spot it. Looks like he'll be just short. Pushed out by Jeremiah Vessel, and yeah, he will be short. 4th and less than a yard.
And a good job on the outside by Patrick Vallant to get the block. You saw him pull his hands up. He didn't want to get the holding penalty. And I like, again, once again, you're putting yourself in a very manageable 4th down. For what you do offensively, this is where you want to be, 4th and short, 4th and 1 or less.
Nobody lined up over the center on this 4th and short. Low snap dug out into the pile, and another first down for Rice as they keep the drive alive. We talked about the true freshman duo of Hardiman and Byers, and it's Byers getting his first touch and the trust that Scott Abel has in these young backs.
And this will start to mess with the psyche of a defense. When you continue to get a team to a 4th down and they continue to go for it and they run the exact same play and continue to convert that 4th down. As a defense, your job is to try and get them to 4th down. But when you get them there and they are converting, but they're converting with the same play, it has to start to mess with the team psychologically.
This is Jasir Peterson, who is being attended to for UAB. Peterson, first year here, transferring in from Rutgers. This is a stout defensive line when you look at Peterson and Eamon Smalls. Chris Burge has had a good year. Jaquan Mason. And then Logan Allen and Denver Warren. It's really one of the strengths of this defense. So to see Rice have the success with the dive in between the guards, a little surprising in this first quarter.
Well, what they're doing is they're using their tandem blocks, meaning they're double teaming and they're getting movement, and that's the key. When you use your tandem blocks, the key to that is being able to get movement to try and get those guys moving towards those second-level defenders. If those defenders are able to be stout at the point of attack and create a mosh pit and not allow themselves to be moved and just be at a standstill, now you don't allow that offensive lineman to disengage and get up to those second-level defenders.
Interim head coach Alex Mortensen hasn't really watched his offense take a lot of snaps in this opening quarter. Rice 3 for 3 on 4th downs. Now a stoppage before the play.
We'll put the play clock at 40 seconds and the game clock to 40 seconds. Start on my signal.
So they will reset the 2 clocks following the injury. Year 1 for Scott Abel, arrived from Davidson out of the Pioneer Conference. Had a lot of fun meeting him for the first time yesterday, and his energy pretty contagious around campus. Looked like some movement up front.
Put the 40 seconds on the play clock, 40 seconds on the game clock. Started on my signal.
Reed Jackson with some instructions upstairs as we'll try for a 3rd time.
And if you're Rice, you have to be a little bit bothered by that, because now you've seen 2 times where they've shown the play that they want to run. So if you're UAB, you've got to be prepared to say, okay, we think this is the play they're going to run. You know, let's try and get our eyes on the football.
First down, it is a handoff. Nothing cooking for Jackson. Jonathan Allen with the tackle, and that should take us to the end of the first quarter. Homecoming weekend here on South Main, tied at 7. 2 teams desperate for a victory as both make a late season push to become bowl eligible. Rice in the middle of a homestand. UAB had the early turnover. Hooks with the touchdown catch, only to see Thompson find the end zone for Rice. Knotted up at 7. Space City right here in Houston, just down the interstate. Some of the sights, some of the sounds of NASA, so much to do around the Houston area, and some of the pioneers journeyed out of our atmosphere, spirit of exploration in Houston. We start quarter number 2 alongside Forrest Conley, Smacker Miles, Sean Kinney with you, and a Rice offense that really has dictated this game, at least through the first 15 minutes. They held a considerable advantage in time of possession, 11 minutes and counting compared to UAB, just 4 minutes of offense for the Blazers, 84 yards for Rice, and the magic has been on 4th down, converting on 3 different occasions.
And on that play, they ran the pitch to the boundary side. And I think one of the things you have to do when you're running that pitch to the boundary, you've got to get it out early to allow for the back to have space to get north and south, because that's the short side of the field.
3rd down and 9. You got to believe this is 4-down territory. They run the pitch over the right side. Patient run by Thompson. And he will be corralled, but not before he takes it close to another 1st down. 8 yards for Tyson Thompson, who has a touchdown catch in this game already.
And watch what Thompson does. He reads his blocks. He sees a lane, a seam up the middle, and he cuts it up. And that is why pursuit is so important from UAB. You think the play is going to go to the outside because that's the way it's designed, but these backs are taught to see a seam, hit the seam, and you saw that on that play by Thompson.
There we go again, 4th down and a yard. Jack's in the back. He will get the call, keeps the legs churning, tornadoes his way into the pile, and another 4th down conversion. It wasn't easy, but Jackson kept the legs moving, and another red zone 4th down conversion for the Owls.
And demoralizing once again, Sean. You get them to 4th and short, and they run the same play again. If it's not broke, don't try and fix it. We're going to run the dive play. We're going to challenge you at the point of attack. We're going to tell you that we're going to beat you how you know we're going to beat you, running right at you.
12th play of this drive, and this will be Jackson, and he is absolutely destroyed at the point of attack. There is Eamon Smalls having his best collegiate season, and he has battled through some injuries early in his career, but he's been healthy this year.
And what makes him great is the quick first step. He used all his ability right there to disengage from the offensive lineman. Patrick Valiant had what he wanted. You've got to get inside hands, you've got to be squatty, and you've got to try and move Smalls out. But Smalls did a good job of disengaging from Valiant to make that tackle.
That's his 40th tackle of the year. Jenkins hit as he throws, lofts it toward the end zone, just beyond the reach of Dickman.
And he had what he wanted with Dickman. And once again, you've got those back-end defenders with their eyes caught looking in the backfield, thinking they've got to come up and add run support. One of the things that they have to do a better job of is protecting the quarterback. You saw he got hit from the outside, from the left side, and from the right side. You've got to get better protection. You've got to block it up on the outside. You've got to get deeper with your kick steps if you're an offensive lineman. If you're a tight end, you've got to get inside hands. You've got to cover up those defenders. You don't want your quarterback getting hit up and down like he did on that play.
3rd down and 10. They will run the little reverse. Turner with a couple of defenders in front of him, and the Cincinnati transfer Aaron Turner converts on 3rd and 10. He picks up 12.
And what do you do on that play? You've got the jet sweep action that they've had to keep an eye on all afternoon. You think they're finally going to do it, and what do? They've got the reverse action, so they've got everything going one way. You've got your eyes focused on that, making sure they don't get that jet sweep, and then you've got another guy looping around the opposite direction.
1st and goal, spinning off the pile. Hardiman lost the ball late, gets back on it.
And that is what this offense is designed to do, Sean. Create confusion. A lot of pre-snap movement. You want the defense to start thinking and not acting. You want them to react as opposed to act. And that's what they're doing. They're making the defense react to what they're doing as opposed to acting.
UAB having a tough time getting off the field on the money downs, both 3rd and 4th down, especially on this drive. They pitch it. This is Thompson, and looking for his 2nd score of the day. Ball popped out late, but you see the line judge come in immediately and say
rolling on the field as the runner
down.
was down prior to the ball coming out.
Hightower ended up with it. We'll see if they take another look upstairs. So Rod Bryant and his defensive buddies want them to take a look.
Timeout on the field for an injured player on the offense.
There's an injured Owl as well. That's Thompson, the ball carrier, who was slow to get up. Let's take another look for us to see if they indeed pried this ball free before Thompson was down.
Looks like he's down right there, and then they pull the ball out late. I think they're going to call that down. They're not even going to look at it.
They aren't. They'll go right back to action. Thompson gingerly making his way over toward the Rice sideline. 3rd down and goal. Jenkins on a play fake, throws, work to do, trying to get to the pylon, reaching for it at the last second. A flag comes in, and they're going to say Turner was pushed out at the 1. A flag in the end zone.
But the fact that Turner had the athletic ability to get close enough, the defender had to grab his face mask, I think, on that play.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 1. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
The defender had the appropriate angle to make the stop, but because Turner pressed it and did what he could to try to get to that pylon, you see the defender reaching out. It wasn't malicious, but he grabbed just enough of the face mask to get the call. That play is made by Turner because they were there to make the stop. But because Turner pressed it, the defender felt like he had to grab up top to try and keep him from getting to the pylon.
Injured Blazer in the front of the end zone. Can't quite tell who is being attended to. Meanwhile, for Rice, this will be the 19th play, a monster 19-play drive coming up. Take a look at the game clock. They have already worked nearly 5 minutes off this second quarter clock, now approaching 15 minutes of time of possession in this first half, and some friendly fire, it looks like, for UAB on this injury. Little rubber out there and collision. It was Matthews, the freshman for Rice.
In those type of plays, you get the wind knocked out of you because you're not expecting the contact. You're going with the offensive player, and you're leaving yourself wide open. And it's good to see him be able to get up and walk off the field. And I think that's probably what happened. He's probably just got the wind knocked out of him.
It's Jalen Cheek, the fifth-year senior they brought in via the transfer portal from Boston College, where he spent his first 4 years. Started a few games for the Eagles a couple of years ago. UAB defense just searching for answers and stops. See what Rice has been able to do, control the clock, and now they have it 1st and goal. Knocking on the doorstep, it is Hardiman lowering the pads. Touchdown, DeAndre Hardiman with the touchdown run. 19-play drive for Rice, and the Owls grab their first lead.
And an interesting caveat, they've almost eaten up 5 minutes off the clock. A good job by that Rice offensive line once again to get pushed at the point of contact. And they're winning the battle in the trenches. They're playing with a flat back. They're firing off low. They're getting those tandem blocks. They're getting up to those second-level defenders. And they're maintaining contact with those front-level defenders, not allowing them to get off and disengage.
Goda adds the point after. Normally when you go 19 plays, you're thinking maybe a 90-yard drive. In this case, just 48 yards. Hardiman punches it in. You don't see that type of drive chart too often. 19 plays to go 48 yards and eat up more than 9 minutes off the game clock. DeAndre Hardiman with his second rushing touchdown of his young career. You look at North Shore High School. He is a product of that school here in Houston, and Willie Gaston, he has turned out some good players throughout the years from the Story program, and Hardiman appears to be one of the latest.
And one of the things about the Rice offense is it's not the type of offense that you can fall behind on a team because they want to run the football, which eats up the clock. But it's also not the type of offense that you want to fall behind if you're the opposing team, because they eat up so much time on the clock and you don't have an opportunity to get on the field to score if you're far behind as many or as often as you would like to.
Good return by Solomon Beebe as he takes it out past the 30. So a UAB offense that has only been on the field for a little more than 4 minutes in this first half. Ryder Burton throwing the football 2 of 3 for 34 yards. Jackson has carried it twice. That has been it as far as the running backs go. Let's see if Alex Mortensen can find some rhythm now. From the 34-yard line, a movement along the front line for Rice. Let's see if he was enticed.
Offside. Defense, number 99, jumped into the neutral zone, causing a reaction. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's Christopher Clark Jolivet.
You see what Rice is doing. They're showing 3 down linemen. They've got linebackers walking up in the gaps. They're jumping. So what they're trying to do is, confuse the young quarterback, make the offensive linemen try and think and figure out what they're going to do defensively as far as the pressure packages that they're bringing.
After the penalty, first down, looking for the cutback lane and slithering under the pile. Falling ahead, Jackson for a couple of yards. Alex Mortensen, the interim coach, Trent Dilfer, was let go, the 14-year NFL veteran, and his offensive coordinator was Mortensen. And his first opportunity as a head coach. He has been around a lot of great coaches in the game. In particular, Nick Saban was on the Alabama staff for nearly a decade.
And you talk about football DNA. I mean, when we asked him, we said, well, Coach, who do you feel like you're most like as far as a personality? He said, just a little bit of everybody. He said, I know it's kind of cliche, when you've coached under Nick Saban, to say that you've got that type of personality. But at the end of the day, I've been around so many great coaches. I've kind of taken a little bit from everybody that I've been around.
He's been around great coaches, and he has been in charge of some pretty great quarterbacks. Take a look at the list. Mac Jones, Blake Sims, Jacob Coker, of course, Hurts and Tua, Heisman winner Bryce Young. Some of the quarterbacks that Mortensen has worked directly with one-on-one throughout the years. 3rd and short, and they will pick up a much-needed first down. Falling ahead to the 46-yard line, and that is exactly what UAB needed. Their short yardage back, Isaiah Jacobs.
And a good job by UAB taking advantage of that penalty on first down, getting ahead of the sticks, running the football right at this defense, extending this drive.
First down, Burton to throw, pressure up the middle. He slings it toward the far sideline, making the catch and then turning upfield to the 41-yard line. Good throw and strike, a pickup of 12 yards.
AC Rice goes with the 3-man pressure package. They bring the linebackers late, but a good job on the outside by the receiver to catch the football and get back to the inside. Corey Milliner. That, for the defensive back, you've got to close, you've got to keep inside leverage on that play. You gave him inside leverage to get back to the inside. You've got defenders coming up on the outside. You've got to do a better job. Know where your teammates are coming from.
Little hitch pattern and an open hole in the secondary. It's a short gain as Evan McCray makes the catch. Second catch of the day for McCray, 6 yards on the completion.
And a good job by Porter getting him down instantly on that play. That's what you want to do. Make the tackle in the open field. Don't allow McCray to start dancing on the outside and be able to try and get up the field. make the play in the open field. One of the things we talked about earlier in the game, Sean, tackling. That is something they had issues with last week against Memphis. They're doing a better job right now with their open field tackling.
Nice looking drive for the Blazers. They've taken it to the Rice 37. They will hand the ball off, and cutting up ahead up to a first down. About a yard shy goes Jackson as he picks up 4. Javon Jackson, 5th-year senior, they brought in from UTEP his first year. He arrived in Birmingham in January for the final year of his eligibility, and he's been a wonderful find for this offense.
You have to think that this is 4th-down territory for UAB right here. You, of course, would like to convert this 3rd down to a 1st down, but I would think that this would be 4th-down territory.
UAB 1 for 3 on 3rd downs today. They converted a few moments ago. They start this set empty, 3rd and a yard. Inside 7 minutes to go in this second quarter. Play clock down to 2, down to 1. And they just did get the snap off as they run the end around for a 1st down. Good clock management there by Burton, and a 1st down for UAB. Javon Jackson.
And you saw what UAB did. They went with the empty backs, empty set right there, spreading out the defense. You want to get the ball to the jet sweep action, allow him to find the seam. As soon as he finds the seam, his job is to get north and south, fall forward, get the 1 yard necessary to get the 1st down. Jackson
had a couple of years at UTEP, started at the FCS ranks. He checks out for a quick breather. 1st and 10, UAB at the 30. Burton with a long throw all the way across the field, and another catch. He has certainly found his rhythm. First catch of the day for Brandon Hawkins, coming off a career performance last week in the loss to UConn, a gain of 8.
And what's interesting with the defense that Rice is showing right now, you've got a young quarterback in Burton feeling comfortable with that pass. That's the 2nd time we've seen him throw that on this drive. Now, what I expect the Rice defense to do is jump that route. And they've shown that they're going to leave that route open. Maybe you get Burton comfortable thinking he can continue to go to that, and the defensive back jumps that route.
Fresh bodies checking in for the Rice defense. You saw big number 75, Blake Banish. 2nd down and 2. Burton on the read option, hop skipping through the hole, and then tripped up just as BB was ready to take it into another gear. It will be 1st down, 10 yards on the burst.
And good job by the offensive lineman getting up to the 2nd level defenders. I like what I saw from Adam Lukowski right there, number 68, the center. That is what you're asking for your center to do. Get up to that 2nd level defender, cover him up, allow for your back to have space.
John Kay, first year as the defensive coordinator, replacing Brian Smith. He was one of the holdovers for Scott Abel. He has coached here in the city of Houston for 3 decades. Burton pulls it back, rifles it over the middle, and it's caught. Terrific throw and catch. Hooks paid the price. 10 more yards, 1st and goal, UAB.
And they've been going with that out route. You see right here, they've got the crossing route, Hooks wide open, and it all starts with those linebackers coming downhill. They're showing it, I think, prematurely. You're allowing Burton to know that they're going to not be in that space. They're not occupying that short crossing route space, which allowed for Burton to get to Hooks on that play. They have to sell it a little bit more. I think hold back a little bit and come with the delayed blitz. They're showing it a little bit early, allowing Burton to know where he can go with the football.
1st and goal for the Blazers. They will hand it off. This is Jackson. He is met in the A-gap by Alway. 2nd and goal. And what's so interesting for us, in a game in which we thought there might be a few more explosive plays, it's really become a possession game in this first half.
Very methodical. You know, working the ball down the field. We haven't seen many chunk plays. And I think what both offenses are doing are taking what the defense is giving them and just trying to work it down the field. We saw that very much so with Rice with the 19-play, 48-yard drive, taking what the defense is giving them, not trying to do too much. And we've seen that on this drive by UAB.
Well, they go a little crazy here, and they put Burton in motion as a receiver, and the flag comes in. Let's see if UAB had a couple of guys moving at the same time.
Prior to the snap, Rice coach called a timeout, 30-second timeout.
So Abel calls the timeout just as UAB was going to reach into the bag of tricks, it appeared.
And I've never liked that. You've gotten the ball all the way down to inside the 2-yard line, and now you want to go to your bag of tricks. Play football. You know, do what you've done to get down there. hand the ball off to your power back, ask your offensive lineman to fire off with flat backs in your goal line offensive package, and run the ball in and score the touchdown. You've got the quarterback splitting to the outside. You're running and going through your bag of tricks. And I think what you do is you're telling your offensive line at that point, we don't feel like you can get the job done. We've got to do a trick play to try and score a touchdown. I don't like that play. I think you go in and you do what you've done to get down to this point, as opposed to trying to do all the trick plays and the fun plays.
This is an offensive line that has been intact from the opening game this year. They continue to get better and better. They go back to the traditional I, and no luck there. Cut down, sneaking through, Marcus Williams, who's been the stabilizer on the back end of the Rice defense. And now what do you like, Forrest, here, 3rd and goal?
I think you challenge your offensive line once again, and you say, hey, guys, let's get it done. But also I think you can look at the play action, because what they're doing, they've got everybody down close to the line of scrimmage. You may be able to get that crossing route, but it's all about what Burton sees. If they show it early, then you've got that crossing route. If they sit back, hand the football off.
They go diamond set in the backfield, lag the tight end. Burton gets rid of it quickly and tackled in space. Shy of the end zone, back-to-back plays for Marcus Williams.
And I don't like that play. If you're going to throw the ball, it needs to be thrown in the end zone. When you throw it outside the end zone, you allow for defenders to come up and possibly make a play. You see this play, it's too late to develop. You've got time, and allow guys the time to react. It's not enough going on to allow for the offensive player to get to the edge. I think if you throw the football, it had to be a crossing route, which was in the end zone, or you run that dive play and challenge your offensive line.
Jonah DeLonga coming out for a little more than a chip shot from the far hash. 20 yards for DeLonga. Placement down, kick is up, and it is through. But boy, that is a Rice victory. UAB had a 1st and goal from the 2.
Media timeout.
They have to settle for 3. The Owls keep the lead. Abundant sunshine, crystal clear blue skies, beautiful look. The Rice campus just on the outskirts here in Houston. 14-10, Rice down to their final 3 regular season games. UAB still with 4 to go, but an all-important one for these 2 teams than their postseason hopes of becoming bowl eligible. UAB having to settle for the 20-yard field goal after going 14 plays, 64 yards. Rice to go back to work when we come back to South Main.
Media timeout on the field.
Entertaining first half. Rice out in front of UAB 14-10. Key possession as we close down this first half. The Owls with a couple of timeouts, 2:35 to go. 13th all-time meeting between these two teams. UAB with a slight 7-5 edge, including last year's blowout win at Protective Stadium. First down carry as the quarterback Jenkins will keep it for 3 up to the 28-yard line. We'll see what type of urgency Scott Abel has as we approach the 2-minute timeout. Second down and 7. They hand it off up the middle. There goes Jackson. Makes a defender miss. Quentin Jackson to the outside. Pushed out of bounds. Explosive play for Jackson, having a career year, entering today Rice's leading rusher.
You see Jackson's ability to break tackles at the point of contact. He's a very shifty runner. He's got great hips on the outside and then the speed to get out of bounds and stop the clock, giving them one more play.
We hit the 2-minute timeout. Exciting news unveiled Thursday about a transformative initiative to unify campus, reimagine athletics, and redo historic Rice Stadium. Details coming up. the Gateway Project announced earlier this week at Rice the creation of a new pedestrian-oriented street that will serve as a vital connection between Rice Village and the university campus, and then a complete reimagining of Rice Stadium, a major overhaul, especially on the west side. For more on this, let's turn it down to Smacker, who's with Rice Athletic Director Tommy McClellan.
Mr. McClellan, what does this mean for Rice?
Oh, it's incredible. It's a statement. It's a statement that athletics is serious at Rice University. Like so many other things that happen on this campus, this is an endeavor that we desire to be great at.
It's a $120 million renovation. This is a huge deal. What are some of the highlights that stand out in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, we have this great asset of sports venue. We've got this one of the greatest assets in the city of Houston in Rice Village, and trying to link those things together is huge. And so for us, being able to expand premium shade offerings, which would be great today, and then being able to have more of a diverse venue that can host other things in football, FIFA soccer, concerts, banquets, etc. We're really excited about it.
It's an exciting time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Smacker. Certainly excitement in the air with the announcement becoming official. And of course, we had a chance to look at the blueprint and building the park around this current historic stadium. What a wonderful idea.
It is an absolutely beautiful blueprint, and I can't wait to see the finished product. And I think the fan experience will be, something that everyone will definitely enjoy once they finish that project.
Key third down. Rice has been so good on fourth down because they have not been able to convert the third downs today. 2 of 8. Let's see what they can do here. Plus territory. They play power football, which has worked today. Surging ahead to the 45, and a decision for Scott Abel. Do you roll the die for a 5th time today?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They got away from their offensive philosophy on second down, trying to throw the football, I thought. But I think you absolutely go for it here on 4th down. You allow the play clock to tick down as well, though. So if you don't convert it, you don't give the ball back to UAB with a lot of time on the clock. Because right now, I think if you're Rice, you're just looking to get in field goal range.
If they do indeed take this snap, key play of this first half, you are risking giving up the ball in precious territory, and they are going to use the
Timeout, Rice.
to talk it over a little bit more as they let the play clock wind all the way down.
A couple of things with that. I like letting the play clock run down. You go over, and if you're going to go for it, you design a play. You make sure everybody understands what their assignment is. You talk to your offensive line and talk about what you think you may see because of what you've seen so far in this football game. But also what you've done as well is you've allowed the clock to tick down. Although UAB does have all of their timeouts, you want to use as much time as possible. So if you don't convert it, you give the ball back to them. They don't have a lot of time. They have to use those timeouts.
Steve Russ, the defensive coordinator, first year here, the veteran, the 2-time Super Bowl champion, won those Super Bowl titles as a player with Denver. Knows this is a crucial moment in this game for his very young defense, and Rice does not change their mind. They keep the offense out there. 4th down and 2 from the 45. The Owls 4 for 4 on 4th down today. Dickman in motion. They run the option that direction. Late pitch to Dickman, and he is cut down in the open field. UAB comes away with the stop.
Rolling on the field as the runner was short of line of game.
They played that defensively as perfect as you can play it. We see Jenkins down. I hope that he's okay. He took a shot from the defender because he held the ball until the last possible moment. The defense did a good job of stringing that out, but also coming up and getting the hit on Jenkins, and that's why he pitched the football. They played it perfect. You had someone covering the pitchman. You had someone covering the quarterback. You stretched it out to allow for pursuit to get there. But watch the shot that Jenkins takes on this play. This is played perfectly right here. Well, you see the shot right there that Jenkins takes. He's wide open in the midsection area, but that is exactly how it's drawn up defensively. You've got all of those defenders on the back end coming up, and you've got to make the open field tackle. A good job by the defender to make that open field tackle. Donald Lee, that is exactly how it's drawn up.
Lee with just his 2nd tackle of the year, but he saved it for a big time. The 5th-year senior started his career at Grambling.
He's a hometown kid from here in Houston. a long kid as well, 6'3", 185 pounds. He used all of that length to make that tackle, Sean.
Huge stop for UAB, and now they're trying to go deep, firing into double coverage and going up high and making the catch. High pointing the ball beautifully is Corey Milliner. They missed him when he was gone for 4 weeks, but his second week back, and he is picking up where he left off.
And you've got Porter and you've got Williams right there. But a good job by Burton getting it right over the defenders, just over the defenders' outreached hands, and Milliner concentrating on that football, squeezing it and holding on to it as his helmet flies off.
26 yards to Milliner. UAB in business. Burton with time. Drag pattern caught and stepping out of bounds inside the red zone. 11 yards. They go to Iverson Hooks, who's had a big first half, his third catch.
And that play's been open all afternoon. That's the play I thought they should have ran when they was down on the goal line. Those linebackers, those middle-level defenders are coming up and rushing the quarterback, leaving that area open. That's been open all afternoon. They've got to do a better job of sitting back in that zone, not coming up. You've got to see if you can get pressure with the front three, but I think you need to sit back for those linebackers in that second-level defender area.
Nearly a perfect first half for Burton. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Wanted to go to Milliner. Now pursued, trying to direct traffic, but nobody open.
And Sean, they went away from it because it was open once again. They have no defenders in that middle level of the defense. They're coming up to the line of scrimmage. They're showing it early, and they're rushing the quarterback. They show 3 down linemen. Then you've got all those linebackers rushing the quarterback at the snap of the football. I think you continue to go to it until they start to sit back. The middle of that defense is wide open.
And the entire playbook wide open for Alex Mortensen with the 3 timeouts. Clock really not an issue here. They run a stunt, picked up, crossing pattern caught, flag flies, vicinity of a hold. Hooks reels it in, but let's see if it sticks.
And it's open again.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 75. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Oh, how about that? It's Banish getting a hand up too high.
And you're talking about mental errors. Now, watch 75 right here. He's got his hands
UAB
up.
has elected for the game clock to start on the snap.
There. You know, that's close. He's got the hands up around the neck area. But you've got to do a better job. You've got to keep the hands down in the breastplate of the offensive lineman.
UAB cannot settle for 3 like they did last time when they were down this part of the field. Burton can take off and run if he wants. Instead, he floats and good coverage. He was looking for Milliner. Blanket coverage, though, by Rice.
And Burton missed a receiver. The receiver's wide open. And I don't know how Burton did not see him. Watch Isaiah Jacobs, number 3. He is wide open in Burton's face. Right here, look at that, right there, right there. Throw it right there. Burton has to see him. But once again, you've got a young quarterback predetermining where he's going with the football. You've got to read and look at what the defense is giving you. You see Jacobs jumping up and down because he was wide open.
Started with trips. Now they will put Hooks in motion. Second down, pressure comes. Burton hit as he throws. A flag on the turf as well. Burton paid the price. Joseph Mutombo delivered the boom. Let's wait and see what the flag is. Early indications on UAB.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 players in motion at the time of the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay second down.
Both these quarterbacks showing some toughness. Mutombo bringing it this last play.
And Burton has to be able to read that and understand there's a free rusher and feel the pressure. Get rid of the football. You've got to be able to see what the defense is giving you and know where the pressure's coming from.
Third down, Burton slips. Boy, we've seen traction really play a factor in this game. A number of players losing their footing. Alway ends up with a second sack of the day as he just simply pounced on top of Ryder Burton.
And Rice brought the house on that play, and for Burton, you have to know that they're bringing
put the game
house
clock to
pressure.
11 seconds.
You've got to get rid of the football. Once again, that's what you want to do to a young quarterback. They're not used to being able to diagnose pressure and know where to go with the football, and you want to test them. And a good job by Rice bringing the house, getting immediate pressure on Burton, not allowing him to set his feet and go anywhere with the football. Look, they've got every gap covered. They're coming from up the field. You see Burton slip right there, so he's not able to recover. That's what you want to do to a young quarterback, get immediate pressure.
You mentioned the pressure force, but that's twice now UAB has been inside the 10, and they've had to settle for 2 field goal attempts.
Well, to me, they've gotten away from what was successful. I thought that crossing route, until you stop it, I'm going to keep going to it. We talked about Isaiah Jacobs. He missed him on that play, and that's something the coaching staff talked about. Coach Mortensen talked to us about. He said they went and they looked at film, and there are a lot of plays that they left on the field. He said, hey, there are a lot of games we didn't lose. I mean, they didn't beat us. We lost those games. I think he lost that play. They didn't win on that play. They lost on that play because he missed his receiver.
3rd down. Burton nearly slipped again. Now fires wide open. Touchdown. It's Brandon Hawkins with the touchdown catch. What a bizarre play. As Burton nearly took the sack, then he nearly went down to a knee with the turf giving out, but he had the poise to keep his eyes downfield and find Hawkins all by his lonesome.
And it's almost like the defense thought it was down. Everyone stopped playing, and you see the receiver just find an open area and make himself a target for his quarterback. You've got to continue to cover on the back end of that defense.
Traction is certainly going to be an issue for UAB, something they're going to talk about in the second half.
And it all starts with not converting that 4th down for Rice. Watch Burton. One thing Burton has done today, he has not panicked. There have been a couple of times where he slipped, but he did not panic. You see the athletic ability of him to be able to get his hand down and keep his balance and deliver the ball. And Alway, you've got to continue to cover throughout the play. You see Alway upset with himself right there because he realizes he allowed the receiver to get away from him and find an open space for his quarterback to go at the football. A little bit over a minute left when they got this football, and to allow them to drive down the field, we saw some mental errors, the hands to the face, giving them half the distance to the goal. But a good job by Burton not panicking when it looked like he was going to be down, slipping. Second time he slipped on this drive. We saw him slip on the play before that. They were able to get the sack. He did not panic. He got his hands down. You saw the athletic ability, and he's able to find his receiver in the back of the end zone and fire the strike.
As the clock was winding down in the first half, 7 plays, 56 yards. Burton with his 2nd touchdown in this first half. Hooks and now Hawkins. And an entertaining first half. UAB back out in front, 17-14. And again, I said it at the time, key play in that first half, Rice rolling the die with 4th and 2, and the defensive play made by the duo of Jeremiah Vessel and Donald Lee, giving UAB the ball where Burton can do his thing.
And if you're Rice, you had to feel like you could convert that. You've converted every other 4th down opportunity with 4th and 2 or less, so you had to feel good about your ability to be able to convert that. But when you look at what UAB did on that play defensively, they played it perfectly.
UAB messing up on the kickoff, so this gives Rice one opportunity for a little lady luck possibly if they can get it downfield. Taking off and running on what will be the final play of this first half. It's good to see Jenkins back out there. He was shaken up after the failed 4th down play. He scrambles for 19 yards, and that is the end of the first half. 2 teams so desperate for a win today. This final month of the regular season, both trying to inch their way up to 6 wins. A lot of work to do. You take it 1 week at a time, but we talked to both of these coaches, and they said this is a must-get. Let's go back down to Smacker. She's with Coach Mortensen.
Coach, Ryder Burton leads a beautiful drive to take the lead going into the break. What did you see from this play so far?
Yeah, Ryder did a really good job finishing that drive. You know, we're making some things harder than they need to be. You know, it's like there's a few things we can do the easy way too, but really glad that our guys responded well, kept their poise, and overcame, you know, the hole we put ourselves in there at the end of the drive, which was a good drive to begin with.
Rice had that long drive, a couple fourth down conversions. How do you get off the field in those short distances?
Yeah, look, I think part of it is, they do a good job of mixing things up. They'll mix runs in there on 3rd and long, and their willingness to go for it on 4th down, allows them to do that. So, there are some challenges there, but we've got to do a better job of, playing, a balanced offense on 3rd downs.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Macker. 11 of 14 for Ryder Burton in the first half. 134 yards, including the 2 touchdown passes. And it's Coach Mortensen and UAB on the road, leading by 3 here at halftime.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Travelpiece. Another action-packed week occurred in the American, which means it's time for the best part of the week, top plays. This is what we've got for you. Starting with some women's soccer, Rice and Tulsa. Keep an eye on the Golden Hurricanes' Maggie Simsmith. She has the ball right here, and she boots it to the back of the net. We'll head over to the football field for play number 4, UConn and UAB. The lateral pass over to Brandon Hawkins Jr., and he's going to take off. Dodging multiple Husky defenders, he'll run all the way to the end zone. More women's soccer for you. South Florida and Florida Atlantic. Gentiana Fatai saving South Florida's season. Bulls win this one. Brendan Sullivan and Jake Retzloff played quarterback for Tulane in this football game, but the person with the ball right there is Jimmy Callaway. He's a wide receiver, and he lets this one fly. Omari Hayes comes up with the catch and the touchdown. Meeting in North Texas was the game that we had circled all week long in the American because these are two of the top teams in the conference. Blake Horvath with the ball, throws it away. Quentin Hammonds jumping up to make the one-handed pick. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag American Top Plays on social. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+. Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Travelpiece. The men's soccer season has been nothing short of exciting. Multiple teams battled until the very end for that #1 spot. There's still more soccer to be played, but before we get to it, let's take a moment to recognize our major award winners.
Florida Atlantic's Mamadou Diarra is the Offensive Player of the Year. Diarra finished with 6 goals, 4 assists, and 16 points on the season while helping his Owls secure a share of the American Conference regular season championship. The Defensive Player of the Year is Luke Adams of Tulsa. The redshirt sophomore helped the Golden Hurricane go 3-3-2 in conference play and earn the 6th seed in the American Conference Championship. Charlotte's Ben Fisher is the Midfielder of the Year. The redshirt junior finished the regular season with 1 goal, 5 assists, and 7 points on 10 shots. There are 2 Goalkeepers of the Year in the American. Leo Stritter of Charlotte led the conference in goals against average at .804. He had 45 saves on the year and allowed just 12 goals. Jaheim Wickham of South Florida shares the honor with Stritter. He led the conference in saves with 54 and had a save percentage of .711. The Freshman of the Year is Samuel Manufor from Charlotte. He started in 14 games and was featured on a 49er defense who allowed the least amount of goals of any team in the American. After sharing a part of the regular season championship, head coach Joey Worthen and the Florida Atlantic coaching staff was honored as the Coaching Staff of the Year. The Owls finished 10-3-2 overall and 5-1-2 in conference play.
For more on the Men's Soccer Awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
touchdown passes for Ryder Burton. UAB out in front of Rice at halftime. 17-14. Blazers with the lead. Two teams coming in desperate to finish strong in a possible bull push to get to the elusive 6 win. Sean Kinney alongside Forrest Conley. Well, Forrest, we started this broadcast with the word urgency. Both these sidelines felt it all week in practice. It looked like they were playing with some urgency in the first half.
Well, we've seen what I thought we would see from Ryder Burton. He's a young quarterback, very elusive. You saw the footwork, his ability to get the ball down the field, keep his feet when he was slipping. And for Rice, they've run the ball extremely effective. They came into this game the 16th ranked rushing team in the country, and you see why. One of the things that stands out is that key 4th down that they did not convert, and I think that is the difference in this football game.
You take a look at some of the highlights in the first half. A UAB defense that generated the first scoring opportunity. They were able to get the takeaway. First of 2 touchdown passes from Burton. This time, the deep ball to Hooks.
And Hooks got away with the push off on that play, but then Rice comes right back. Tyson Thompson able to sneak down the field uncovered, and then right here running the ball effectively. And the key play was the misdirection, but right here the big stop on 4th down. They converted all the 4th downs up into that play, and then Burton right here, the athletic ability to stay up on his feet, find his receiver in the back of the end zone. I think that is the difference right there. Burton's athletic ability.
21 yards on the touchdown to Hawkins. You take a look at the numbers, pretty balanced both ways. UAB really catching up in the time of possession. There was a juncture of this football game where Rice had a 3-1 edge in the time of possession, but UAB able to get their offense on the field in the second quarter. Just the one takeaway, and the 4th down's really the difference. Rice was golden up until that last decisive failed 4th down, which put UAB in great position, and the Blazers took full advantage. 17-14, UAB by 3. We'll be back with more from a sunny Houston. Look at that sky. This is the American on ESPN. Sun-drenched Saturday afternoon in Houston, South Maine, and a good one in the American UAB. Entering today, 3 wins this year. The Blazers at 3-5, Rice sitting at 4-5. A couple of touchdown passes from Burton, 17-14. UAB out in front. We saw some really long drives in the first half. Rice went 48 yards, took up 9 minutes off the game clock, 19 plays. UAB able to counter with a long scoring drive of their own, and then the quick strike 2-play 34-yard drive capped off with the touchdown pass to Hooks following the UAB takeaway. Both quarterbacks played well in the first half. Jenkins throwing the football 6 of 8. Burton 11 of 14 in just his second career start.
And a good momentum swing for UAB to get that touchdown right before the half to take the lead. I thought for Rice, they got away from their offensive philosophy. On second down, they got cute trying to throw the football as opposed to running the football, which had been very effective for them. I thought they were looking to run it, get it in field goal position, try and put a couple more points on the board, knowing they were going to get the second half kickoff.
Burton, who started his career at BYU. He was a mid-year enrollee for the Cougars. BYU was his only FBS offer coming out of high school. Then went to West Virginia in 2024 after Neil Brown was fired. He went into the portal, and UAB thinks they have found a really good one. Jalen Kitna, very accomplished quarterback, fighting some injury issues right now, and Burton has certainly stepped up. As we start the second half, then we check in with Smacker.
About the Owls' offensive adjustments, and he said that they've had big opportunities on the perimeter, but they haven't been playing well there. He said that the Blazers' corners have won those matchups with their receivers. Defensively, he said we have to get off the field on third downs. He said that they've been able to win some big third downs on large plays that shouldn't have happened based on the Owls' execution of assignment. And as far as his message to the team, he said we have to maintain momentum and grow it. They can't lose it on a bad drive or a mistake.
Well, we'll see if they can put to use some of those adjustments in this second half, especially with this defense trying to get off the field on third down, trying to make the most of nothing is Jackson. Quentin Jackson, his usual self in the first half, 10 carries, 46 yards, explosive dynamite back for the Owls.
And a good job by Jonathan Allen getting penetration right at the snap of the football. That's what you want to do if you're a defender for UAB. You disrupt the blocking scheme by getting initial penetration, getting up the field, not allowing those offensive linemen to get to their areas. They're not trying to knock people off the ball. They're trying to get to certain areas. And when you get that initial push, you don't allow those offensive linemen for Rice to get to their areas.
Rice spreads it out. They have Barnett, the tight end, at the top. Keeping it as Jenkins, waiting for a couple of blocks on the boundary side. Then he is shouldered out of bounds, and here comes a real late flag. And Bryant can't believe it. Sarad Bryant came in with the shoulder, and it took a while, but the flag
After
eventually
the
flew.
play was over, personal foul, late hit, defense, number 1, 15-yard added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
And you see right here, Bryant has to see right there and understand that Jenkins is out of bounds at this point. And, you know, it's questionable, but at the same time, you had 2 officials throw the flag, so they thought there was enough there. And you have to understand, if you're Bryant, that he's the quarterback, too, so they're going to look to protect the quarterback, even though he becomes a runner and a ball carrier when he decides to tuck that ball and run.
Bryant, maybe the hardest hitter on the Blazer defense, the only returning starter from a year ago for UAB. Costly 15-yard penalty. Rice will try to take advantage of it. Squeezing through a little hole is Jackson up to the 47. So he rushes for 4.
And one of the things that you look for when you're running this offense is all the UAB defenders are going to be down in the box. Their job is to stop the run, bring pressure, limit the Rice rushing attack. But when you've got all these players in the box, if Jackson is able to get to the second level, there aren't many defenders there, many defenders left. Those usual third-level defenders become second-level defenders.
They put Dickman in motion, zigzagging his way into the center goes Jackson. Takes it on to the UAB side of the field.
12 leads the game for a play due to his helmet coming off.
McNichols lost his lid, so he will have to leave, and a 3rd and short. Rice staying on schedule, which is something you talked about at halftime.
And you beat me to it, Sean. This is right where Rice wants to be. 3rd and short. Now you look at them being a 4-down offense, something they were successful with in the first half. They didn't convert that last 4th down, but this is where they want to be.
Jenkins takes a look down at the play. 3rd down and short. They will hand it off, and Jackson, man, he does hit the hole hard. He will pick up the 1st down running behind his left side. This is an offensive line that doesn't label it your traditional right side, left side. They go by tight and split, all dictating really in essence your strong and weak side, but they don't use that particular vernacular.
Well, the split tackle often initiates the combo block with the guard or the tight end to seal the play size. So the split tackle's ability to engage or bypass the defender directly affects whether the quarterback hands the ball off, pitches it, or keeps the ball. So that's why he's the most important player on that offensive line.
Check down to Turner. A flag is thrown. Turner hop-skipping his way for a couple to the 45. And oftentimes the strong side tackle for Rice is their redshirt freshman Luke Miller.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 55. 15-yard added to the end of the run. 1st down.
Jasir Peterson, who we saw shaken up earlier in this game, and 2 critical mental mistakes by the UAB defense.
You see right here, and that's just unnecessary. The quarterback has released the football, and you see right there, he's throwing his hands up, but Peterson, you have to pull up. The official is right there to watch the quarterback. You can see there's something unnecessary. They're going to make that call.
That is 30 yards in penalties when you factor in the Bryant personal foul, the late hit on Jenkins out of bounds. Now Peterson cannot give an offense like Rice free yards like that, especially when you're a defense struggling to slow people down.
And Coach Mortensen talked about it. He said, teams are not beating us, we're beating ourselves with these costly penalties.
Opening drive of this 3rd quarter, UAB by 3. Pistol set. Jenkins will run the option, and he will keep it as a block to the 15. Tight ropes down the near side, and is pushed out of bounds, and Rice will have it 1st and goal.
And you see the dangers of Jenkins getting to the outside, making the good decision. He's pitched the ball all throughout the afternoon, so they went with the pitch man and did not play that correctly. And his ability to get north and south. You see right here, he's reading. He sees that he's got blocking on the outside. He can get to the edge. He finds the seam, and he gets up the field.
Samaj Pierre, one of the downfield blocks, the true freshman receiver from Baton Rouge. 1st and goal for Rice. Hardiman, who has a touchdown run today, stood up and driven back.
And
Chris Merge.
One of the more difficult things about this offense, too, is we're approaching 5 minutes of possession already in the 3rd quarter. And that is what this type of offense does to you. They beat you up, they bang you up, they beat you up, they bang you up, and they run the clock.
10th play of this drive for Rice as we hit 10 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. Byers into the backfield. He lines up behind Jenkins. Jenkins will keep it, try to sprint to the corner, and is pushed out just as he stepped inside the 5-yard line. That was Vessel who came in. 4 yards for Jenkins, 3rd and goal.
Now, if you're Rice, do you pull the ball out right here, run play action? Or do you continue with your bread and butter?
Been very selective when he's made the decision to throw. 7 of 9 for Chase Jenkins, 34 yards. Keep an eye on Turner, number 1, the H-back to the right. They love using him this part of the field. Play fake. Jenkins is going to throw. It's Turner, and he dances in untouched. Touchdown, Aaron Turner, Rice. And I think they got to Jenkins a little late, too, because he's down on the turf.
Absolutely, once
again. The result of
again.
the play is a touchdown. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, that 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
And you talked about it. Look for Turner. And what they did, they brought him back across the back of the formation. Nobody went with Turner. Everybody's concentrating on the quarterback and all the movement going to the right side of the offensive formation. He comes back across uncovered. And you see Jenkins, he had just enough on the football to get it to Turner before he took that late hit. And even if he doesn't get the ball to Turner, they'd have a new set of downs. So a great play call by Coach Abel and his staff to get the ball to Turner on the misdirection. Everybody flowing one way, Turner coming the opposite way for the touchdown.
Second straight week that Turner has found the end zone. Started his career at Connecticut. Spent a couple of good years with Satterfield at Cincinnati. His older brother Eli played for Coach Scott Abel back in his days at Davidson. So the Turner family, they love playing for Coach Abel. Aaron Turner, the grad student, back-to-back weeks contributing for Rice. The American on ESPN Plus is home to 40-plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the year. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. Following the roughing the passer penalty, it will be a short kickoff. UAB in this offense to get the ball for the first time and force you go back to the opening drive for Rice. If you are a Blazer, that's just quite simply a self-inflicted disaster of mistakes from the discipline side.
Well, when you look at it, they had 3 roughing the passer penalties on that drive. And you talk about discipline. In order to win football games, you've got to make plays, but you've also got to be a disciplined ball club. And they did not play disciplined on that drive defensively.
See how Burton, the redshirt sophomore, responds. First look in this third quarter, and they will try to get the ground game going. No real surprise coming in. Rice moves the ball with the shotgun triple option approach, running as their top choice, and they've been able to run the football. UAB very potent in the passing game, and the numbers certainly leading to that trend. 134 through the air for Burton. Rice up to 160 yards on the ground.
Well, one of the things that stood out to me, though, is the lack of rushing yards for UAB. I understand they're not a run-heavy ball club like Rice.
Milliner keeps his balance, loses his helmet, but he'll fall ahead to the 37. Nice yards after catch for Corey Milliner.
But you can't be happy as a coaching staff when you've got 11 yards on 14 rushing attempts. You know, that is something that they've got to be able to do. I think if they're going to be able to win this football game, you've got to be able to run the ball somewhat effective. You know, 11 yards on 14 attempts is just not going to get it.
They feel they have a trio of backs that can get it done. BB, their change of pace back. Jacobs, short yardage, multi-year captain, and then the reliability of Javon Jackson, who they brought in via the transfer portal. First down from the 35. There's a hole, and there's some room for Jackson into the second wave. Brought down at the Rice 44, 20 yards for Jackson.
And you have to think that the coaching staff talks to them at the half, and you see right there a good job on the pull play. You loop around. Good job by the guard and the tight end to cover up those defenders, get those blocks, and that's what you're looking for. Cover up, allow your backs to be dynamic, give them space to get up the field. You want to get them one-on-one with a defender in the open field.
It was Elijah Lag, the tight end, who they pulled and delivered the key seal-out block, opening up Jackson. First down, this is Jackson over the right side. Nothing cooking. Banish underneath the pile. Haven't talked a lot about Blake Banish, but this is a guy they feel we could be watching come Sunday afternoons.
He has unique size and ability. A man 6'3", 341 pounds. He does a good job of running plays down from behind. He stays very active. And it's not about numbers and stats with him. It's about him being disruptive at the point of attack. It's about occupying offensive linemen and allowing those linebackers to flow downhill.
Was a 2021 Texas high school powerlifting champion, just a tremendous athlete. Burton's going to go deep and blanket coverage along the side. Marcus Williams making sure the receiver did not slip free that time.
And now, let's see what Rice does on his third down defensively. I think they need to be careful with the middle part of that defense, the second level. They've been bringing pressure, but if the young quarterback Burton is able to read that pressure, if they show it early, that's where he can go at the short crossing routes.
Third down and 10. They need to get it to the 36. Deep drop out on the flat, making the catch, room to run. It's Lag. Lowers the pads, and then he stepped out of bounds. But Forrest, I think he had the first down initially, and I'm not sure if he was jarred from the contact, but he stepped backwards, and it's going to bring up fourth down.
And he's walking off the field, and I think he may have shaken himself up on that contact. You see right here, he catches the ball out in the flat. Now watch when he makes contact. He gets hit, and it looks like he's kind of shaking up on that play, and he just kind of, you know, stumbles out of bounds. You see him kind of stumbling to the sideline on that play as well.
That was Levante Johnson who came in with the big stick. 9 yards to Lag, fourth down. UAB on the pitch to the boundary side and diving ahead, and it looked like Jacobs was able to get there. Terrific run by Isaiah Jacobs. It was a numbers game to the boundary side.
And defensively, they had what they wanted and needed on that play, but Jacobs wanted it just a little bit more than the defenders. You had the right defenders in place to make that play.
For a first down. That previous play is under further review.
What Jacobs did is find a seam to fall forward and get the necessary yards, I think, to get the first down. They're going to take a second look at it, but you had what you wanted defensively. But Jacobs is able to find a seam and get falling forward and get, I think, the necessary yards to get that first down.
Ruling on the field is a first down, so they are going to take a look upstairs. See if Jacobs was able to really masterfully and elusively work his way to the first down markers. We take another look. The pitch to the boundary side with a couple of polling linemen out in front.
See, right there, you've got an opportunity, but a good job by the offensive lineman, the tight end, to stay on his block. Antonio Ferguson, 85. If he gives up on that block right there, he allows for the defensive lineman, Ty Thames, number 47, to make that play. But I think with Antonio Ferguson, 85, staying on that block, he does a good job of maintaining that block. And that allowed Jacobs to get up the field, I think, to get the necessary yards to get that first down.
You asked Alex Mortensen yesterday, you need a tough yard. Who are you running behind? And he mentioned both of his tackles, Brandon Snee, and then the right tackle who they ran behind on this play, Logan Moore.
It's going to be interesting. Where was the ball when his elbow? I think they're looking at the left elbow to see when the left elbow goes down, where is the football? Knee is down, the left elbow is down. Where's the football when he goes down?
They take the different looks, the different vantage points, and a key to keep in mind, is there enough evidence to overturn the ruling on the field, which is the initial and original spot at first down. So that's what they are taking a look at. Our referee, Reed Jackson, with the replay crew upstairs. This might be our best look at it. 36 is the line to get.
After review, the runner was short of the line to gain. It'll be first down, Rice. We'll set the ball at the 36.5-yard line.
Well, how about that? They overturn the call. Rice ends up with the turnover on downs.
And I think what they did, they looked at where the ball was when his left elbow was down, and that is why they made the determination that he was short of the line to gain. And, you know, it goes back to that play previously when Elijah Ladd caught the football and got his bell rung, it looked like, and we'll look to make sure he's going to be okay when they get the ball back.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
So much drama to unfold over the next month, including right here in the American with these two teams. Even though the conference championship not in the conversation, a race to a bowl game is. And the Rice defense a few moments ago coming up with a critical 4th down stop. Quentin Jackson in the offense, good starting position, their second offensive series of this 3rd quarter.
And what more can you ask of your offense? And the thing that's dangerous about this Rice offense is if they're able to score, you know they're going to probably eat up the rest of the time in the 3rd quarter and get into the time in the 4th quarter. And that's one of the things about falling behind a team like Rice. You have to hang around, stick around, be within 1 score because of their ability to eat up time on the clock with this running offense.
2nd down on the quick hitter over the right side, pushing his way out past the 40 up to the 41-yard line goes Byers. This is an offense that really put the entire game together a couple of weeks ago in the win against UConn. Scott Abel talked about it frequently with the local media. This is what he envisioned with this type of offense. The production that they showcased against a very good Husky team, the type of production he's used to from his time at Davidson.
And it will only get better as they start to recruit the type of players that they need to run this offense. They've got some of those players here, but they're going to continue to build upon what they have and get more players in.
A lot of cushion given and an easy throw and catch and a 1st down.
And now what you'll see Rice do is go back to that run offense, run clock, burn clock, and try and push the ball down the field.
Keegan Akriga-Whiteside with that last catch. His 1st catch of the season. Smacker has informed us that Tyson Thompson has been ruled out for the remainder of this game, and Thompson was a vital part of the offense in the 1st half. Jackson upended. He got chopped down low along the UAB sideline.
You see they go with the pistol formation with 2 backs. You have to worry about the dive. You have to worry about the quarterback keeper, but also the pitch to the outside, to the speed back, Quentin Jackson. A good job by the defense closing on that play, making a tackle in the open field. But the key to that, the clock continues to run.
Jeremiah Vessel, I've been impressed with him the last couple of weeks. He came in, made that last play, his 1st year arriving from UNLV. Missed spring ball with the Blazers, showed up in May. 3rd stop in 3 years after starting his career at New Mexico State. Flag is thrown. This is Byers running hard, stumbling his way up to the 42-yard line. 8 yards, but a flag down.
And another mental error by UAB on defense.
Offside. Defense, number 4, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
So they'll accept the penalty, keep it 2nd down, and Steve Russ, after his defense came away with a takeaway and a 4th down stop late in the 1st half, it has not been good in this 3rd quarter.
Well, you come out in the 3rd quarter, you get 3 roughing the passer penalties to allow them to drive down the field and score. And then on 2nd down, you line up offsides. You did a good job on 1st down, stopping them at the point of attack and forcing the 2nd and 10.
2nd down and 5 after the penalty, and Jackson gets a little space, stays on his feet after the shoulder tackle, still running up ahead, finally loses his balance at the 25. 20 yards for Quentin Jackson.
And you see the contact balance by Jackson. He bounces it to the outside, and once again, he's not the biggest guy in the world. He bounces off of the defender who sticks his shoulder out to Marion Crumpley. You've got to wrap up Jackson. You can't just stick your shoulder in there and think you're going to knock him down. But the contact balance by Jackson to spin off of that hit and get an additional 8 yards.
Quentin Jackson, even with the coaching change, Rice said he was never leaving. He says change is never easy, but he has adapted to this playbook, and nowhere for Turner to go. Amori Morrison in the backfield, sniffing that one out early.
And I don't like that play. You're handing the ball off to the back, coming backwards as opposed to coming downhill. Downhill is where they've been most effective throughout the afternoon. Continue to force the issue.
Loss of 6, the TFL for Morrison. Playing for the first time in his career as a 4 technique. 2nd down and 16. Jenkins is going to lob it. Dickman out there, but it's overshot, incomplete. Blanket coverage by Donald Lee, who's played a whale of a game today from the back end of the UAB defense.
And Lee was not fooled at all. You see Lee does a good job using his length. And that's what you want to see from a 6'3" outside defender.
If they don't pick up another inch, they are within field goal range of Enoch Goda, who was hit from 49 this year. 3rd down and 16. 2-back set, and they will try to position the ball smack dab in the center of the field for Goda. Try to stretch this out to a touchdown lead, I would think, but with Rice, you never know. One of the more aggressive offenses in the country when it comes to 4th down, and after some thought, here comes Goda in the field goal unit.
Please put 30 seconds on the play clock, 1:15 on the game clock. Start on my signal. 1:15 on the game clock, 30 seconds on the play clock.
Goda 6 of 9 this year. He's made his last 3 attempts, did not attempt a field goal last time out against Memphis. This one officially from 43. He's hit from 49, 42, and 44 this year. Paqueta the holder. Wyatt Freeman with the good snap placement down, kick on the way, and he pushed it wide. No good, but Goda is down on the turf, and did UAB get to him? Oh, this would be disaster for the Blazers.
Running into the kicker, defense, 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
So it's not roughing, it's running, the lesser infraction 5 yards, but you got to wonder, does this change how Abel plays it now with it being 4th and 5 after the penalty?
Well, I think your kicker has now had a practice kick. I think you continue, and you go for the kick once again. He's had a practice kick. He knows what he needs to do and what he doesn't need to do on this attempt.
37 yards for Goda, who gets a 2nd crack at it. And this kick is perfect. So another UAB penalty allows more points for Rice. Goda connects. The Owls extend their lead to 7.
Number 17 for UAB is now number 91.
College football playoff rankings are brought to you by Allstate as we take a look. Some of the action today. Force Indiana survives a scare at Penn State. They score late to keep a lock on the number 2 spot.
Well, you talk about one of the most exciting football games. That was an exciting game. Penn State took the lead, and what a catch by Cooper to get the feet down in the back of the end zone with 36 seconds left to pull out the big win for Indiana. You gotta love what we're seeing across college football.
Texas Tech wins in Lubbock today over BYU in a Big 12 showdown. UAB down 7. This offense getting ready to come out for the second time in this third quarter. Ryder Burton today, second career start, 13 of 17, 152 yards. Really a funny story. You look at Burton in his first start against Memphis, leading UAB to the win. He found out late Thursday night of that week that he was going to be the starter, so he quickly called his parents, and his father was on a business call in Detroit. He could not get a plane ticket that was reasonably priced, so he drove 13 straight hours to make sure he got a good seat. Actually, they pulled out the air mattress in Ryder's apartment. The dad slept on the air mattress that night, but he made it to the game. The mom flew in the next day, and everybody was there to watch Burton and UAB pull off one of the big wins really in this program's history.
And I'm sure Dad doesn't mind the sacrifice that he made to be there to witness his son's big win, the big opportunity for his son. And you know, as parents, we will do whatever we need to do to be there for our children, so you've got to love that story.
Let's hope it was a good air mattress. I've been on a few of those. I haven't stood up straight for a week after.
Well, you know, modern technology, air mattresses are very good. Now, some feel actually better than some of these beds out here. So, you know, you hope that it was a very good air mattress. But I'm sure Dad, even if Dad's back was hurt, and after that win, you know, that huge win, Dad probably felt really good about it. And, you know, he slept good when he got back home. But the 13-hour drive back, hopefully he rented a car and didn't drive his own car so he could get a one-way ticket back.
A win heals all, doesn't it? Second down on 12 and what might be the final play of this quarter. Little slant, low throw, and Hooks unable to dig it out. Third down and long.
And Burton threw it off his back foot. You need to step into that throw. Something that some young quarterbacks will do at times, trying to get rid of the football prematurely, but you've got to be able to step into that throw. And now they're behind the sticks on third down. And if you're Rice, I think you try and keep everything in front of you. Don't let any of these offensive players get behind you, climb up on you for your defensive back. You see they've got 3 receivers down at the bottom of the screen. Keep it all in front of you, make the tackle.
They bring a blitz off the edge. It's picked up nicely. Burton with a nice pocket. Throws, and the catch is made for the first down. Iverson Hooks with the diving grab. Good job by this offensive line picking up the blitz. Clean pocket for Burton to throw. And UAB keeps the drive alive. A good one from Houston. We march to the 4th. Owls by 7. Two coaches trying to get two programs back on reliable traction as we march to the fourth quarter alongside Forrest Conley, Smacker Miles, Sean Kenny, and a lot on the line over the next 15 minutes. Both of these coaches, both of these teams want to go bowling, but they know what's in front of them. A 3-game season for Rice, including this week, a 4-game season for Alex Mortensen and UAB. Blazers 3-5, Rice at 4-5 entering today. On first down, Burton is going to let her fly, and a beautiful throw, back shoulder grab. Iverson hooks one more time as he beat Marcus Williams. What a throw by Burton.
And I think for Burton, when you see man coverage on the outside and you've got hooks with one-on-one coverage, and he gets a clean break off the line of scrimmage, he's going to go to him. When you look at that play, Marcus Williams has to get a bump off the line of scrimmage. You cannot give hooks a free release. He has the ability to climb on top of defensive backs, and you saw in that play, when you've got a safety matched up on hooks on the outside, hooks is going to win that battle the majority of the time. And going back, Sean, to what you said about these teams vying.
Oh, snap goes through Burton's hands. He will turn and wisely throw it away, and he was outside the pocket. We have seen Ryder Burton. This is a guy at times that looks like he's been a 2 or 3 year starter. You just have to keep reminding yourself this is his second career start, but he plays with some poise.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, you saw the snap just kind of go through his hands, but he did not panic. He played with poise and threw the ball away. He got outside the pocket, threw it past the line of scrimmage. But you talked about it, Sean. These teams are vying for a playoff bid. Excuse me, not a playoff bid, but a bowl bid. And the interesting thing is they both have to play North Texas and South Florida on their remaining schedule. For Rice, those are their last 2 ball games. But I think the difference for Rice, and we talked about it with the coaching staff, is when you don't have enough bowl teams with 6 wins, that 6-win plateau, what happens is they're teams that can go to a bowl game with the 5-7 record if their APR is high. And you look at this Rice team, and you know they're going to have one of the higher APRs. This is a top 25 academic institution. It's one of those schools like a Duke, like a Stanford, like a Vanderbilt. You know, so they're going to have higher academic standards, a higher APR. So I think for them, they know if they win this game, they're right in the sweet spot of where they need to be. As far as UAB, they've got to get to that 6-win plateau.
3rd down and long, and just past the outstretched arms of Corey Milliner. All set up by the tackle for loss from Blake Banish.
Now, the danger in this is you give the ball back to Rice, and we know what Rice has been able to do throughout this afternoon on these scoring drives. They've been able to eat up clock. And Rice is the type of ball club that can eat up the remaining 13 minutes on this clock with 1 drive.
Patrick Foley on the punt. Rice is partially blocked 1 today, and they come after it. Did they get it again, or was this just a shank off Foley's foot?
I think he got a piece of it.
For the 2nd time today, Rice gets a hand on the punt.
Looks like it's the big fella.
Let's take another look to see if this was a misfire from Foley or if Banish and the rest of the Owls got a piece of it. Just a shank. Foley misfires. Rice, the benefactor.
I want you to watch the big fella, number 75, Blake Banish. Now, he's going to get his hands up, and everybody's going to assume that he touched the ball. It's just a shank. But watch what he does. As he's going to the sideline, he's, shaking his head like, yeah, I did it. I got to touch the ball. And everybody's giving him a high five. He actually didn't touch the ball. And you got to give it up to the big fella.
What they tell us yesterday in the call, this is a guy that does not want to be outdone. No matter the competition, whether it's home run derby, whether it's GPS, whether it's a simple chess game, he's the guy.
He calls himself Big Sexy.
He does.
So you got to love it. That's the way you sell it, big fella.
Big drive here, especially for UAB, a Blazer defense that has been snake bit by the penalty in this second half. In particular, the third quarter, 6 penalties for 60 yards. See if they can clean it up. Good start here on second down. Nothing. Just as I say that, again, another 15-yarder.
And you just gotta be smarter. The whistle has blown. Let the ball carrier go. There's no need to take him down to the ground and dump him. Now you give him a brand new set of downs. It would have been 3rd and 10.
Roughness. Defense, number 58. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the 4th one in the second half of this football game. Right here, you've got him stopped. Now, the whistle is blown. Let him go. Let him go. But no, you carry him, and then you dump him. What are they thinking, Mason? You have to be smarter. You can't put your hands up in there, Mason and Smalls, as if you don't know why they called the penalty. The whistle has blown. We heard it up here. You've got to stop at the whistle.
15 yards, Rice has it, plus territory. Jenkins looking for the throwback. It's well covered. Now he's trying to buy some time, lofts it downfield, but incomplete. Peyton Matthews, the true freshman, the closest target. And there's an injured Blazer in the Rice backfield. One of their interior linemen slow to get up.
And I don't like the play call. I think you run the football. Your bread and butter all afternoon has been running the football, not the vertical pass game. You've just gotten a first down conversion on a roughing penalty, on a personal foul. You've got momentum your way. Run the football, run the clock, keep the pressure on this defense to feel like they've got to get a stop on this drive. You stop the clock now. You're putting the ball back on the defensive, back in their hands now. I just don't like that play call.
Eamon Smalls, the leader of the inside of the defense, forced to leave the game on second down, stood up at the line. UAB quickly gets the hands up in the air. Jonathan Allen, the redshirt sophomore, hometown product in Birmingham. He's played a really good game in the center of this UAB defense today.
Now you become predictable on offense. They know you're going to throw the football right here, very likely. I thought if you were going to throw the ball on first down, you go with the short crossing route, something short that he can get a quick completion and allow an athlete to be athletic in space. Going with the vertical pass game, I thought was a huge error.
Third down, double digits, 3rd down and 10. They will rush just 4. Pressure off the edge. Jenkins stumbling his way. He will be shy of the 40. Knee goes down at the 40. Let's see where they're going to mark it. It's like at the 45 is where the knee went down, so it's 4th down and 7. They need to get it to the 38.
I definitely go for it here, but they're not going to do what I think they definitely should do. They're going to kick the football, because I think if you're able to convert this, you can run 5 or 6 more minutes off the clock, but they're going to trust their defense. Their defense has done a good job the second half, stopping this UAB offense, keeping them at bay. And they're playing field position right now. They're going to flip the field. So I understand. The offensive lineman in me would have went for it, though.
Fair catch signaled for by Hooks on the Baqueta punch. UAB down 7. Long way from where they need to be. Interim head coach Alex Mortensen talked about the difference between effort and emotional. Effort doesn't mean emotional. You can play the game with emotion, but don't play it emotionally. And we've seen some of the emotionally mistakes from UAB in this second half, which has cost them. Now they start from their own 7-yard line on the read option. Room to run and then some. Breaking clear. Down the sideline goes Jackson across midfield. And finally, he is taken down at the Rice 42-yard line.
But it looks like a mental mistake is going to bring this back.
A flag back at the 30.
Number 7. 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down, UAB.
Oh, and now we see the mental mistake being made by the defense on this play. And what a key play. And I think when you look at this drive, this is a must-score drive for UAB because of Rice's ability to run the clock. So let's see if we can see the hold on the back end of this play. And usually when it's a defensive hold, especially on a run play, it's when they're preventing an offensive lineman or someone from getting to a block. We couldn't see it directly on that play and identify it, but that's usually where you see a hold on a running play on the defensive side of the football. They're preventing someone from getting to their block.
52 yards for Jackson, who gets tripped up. Looked like his tackle, Snee, got driven into the backfield there, and Jackson got tied up with the big redshirt junior from Philadelphia, 2nd and 11.
And I think if you're UAB, you have to look at this drive as 4-down territory, because once again, the idea is you've got to put a score, preferably a touchdown, on the board. You cannot give this ball back to this Rice offense and not have a score on the board.
Jacobs into the game, gets the touch. Patient run for Isaiah Jacobs. Plows his way to the 30. Gain of 4 yards for Jacobs, setting up 3rd down. And like he talked about, force 4-down territory, couple of cracks to pick up the necessary 7 yards.
And what you're telling your young quarterback here is you don't have to get it all on this play. You just want to get the ball out to an athlete in space, see if they can get the first down. If you see it, you go to it, but if you don't see it, find something underneath. Have a safety valve.
They call it 8, 3rd down and 8. 4-man rush. Burton steps up, checks off to the flat. It's incomplete. Trying to check down to Jacobs. Ty Morris. Haven't called his name a lot today. He was on the assignment. And now 4th and 8 for Alex Mortensen. A little under 9 minutes to go in this 4th quarter.
And the left tackle, Brandon Snee, got beat on that play. He didn't get enough depth on his kick step, allowing for a short corner, which forced Burton to step up in the pocket and have to throw the ball off of his back foot.
Hooks has been the go-to guy, number 0. He lines up as the slot to the top. Hawkins the slot to the bottom, 4th and 8. Burton, here they come in a linebacker blitz, and Burton goes down back at the 40.
And you see what the defense did. The linebackers allowed the offensive linemen to set who they wanted to block and pass pro, and then they brought the delayed blitz with 2 linebackers. That's what you want to do. You want to get those offensive linemen occupied. Watch, while the linemen are occupied, now you bring the delayed blitz, which gives those linebackers the seams they need to get up the field. So what happened on that play? The Rice defenders did a good job of occupying those offensive linemen 2-to-1. And what that did is give those linebackers the lanes that they needed to get up the field to get pressure on the quarterback.
Ty Morris, along with Tony Ainwenu, they will share the sack as they get to Burton back at the 39. And Rice will go to work on this clock and try to extend the lead. Open field tackle made by Talon McNichols. If it wasn't for the penalties, this has been a really good game for the UAB defense.
But it's about a lack of discipline, a lack of focus, and understanding what the assignment is. And they've all been defensive penalties for UAB.
The Rice rushing offense coming in 16th in the country at 213 yards per game. In the teeth of the defense, and there is Allen again. Jonathan Allen this year, he picked up his first start of the year against Army. Absolutely loved it. When you play Army, when you play Navy, and now today with Rice, he says it's a scrum, and that's the type of game he enjoys, and he has made his mark this afternoon.
Well, what makes Allen dangerous, he plays with leverage and he has short area quickness. So he's got a really good first step. He's able to make offensive linemen make a decision early, because if you don't, with that short area quickness, he's able to get up the field.
He's gained roughly 40 pounds since he first stepped on campus. 3rd down and 8. Rolling near side, and they're going to get to Jenkins. Out of bounds he goes, and one more time, it's Jonathan Allen.
And you see that short area quickness once again, that first step. He's very elusive. He's able to get up the field. You see how quick he's up the field, and he does a good job of disengaging. The offensive linemen have got to roll their hips. David Stickle, you've got to roll your hips. You can't reach over your body. When you roll your hips and you get your body up close to that defensive lineman, you're able to duck walk him out. When you're leaning over your body, you allow the defensive lineman to disengage, which is what Allen was able to do, and then get to the quarterback. You've got to roll your hips, get hip to hip with that defensive lineman.
Alex Paqueta has been the weapon this year. Caleb Brown, the transfer from Iowa, surrounded by Owls. Return of a couple of yards following the punt of 44 yards. And there are a couple of flags along the Rice sideline, so we'll keep it here and sort this out.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, UAB.
Blazer football when we come back. 6:36 to go. UAB trailing by 7. Both defenses settling in this fourth quarter. UAB for the second straight series deep in the shadows of their own end.
And Sean, we talked about it during the break. I think this is a must-score drive for UAB. I don't know if they get the ball back if they're not able to score on this drive.
Split backs on first down. They will give the football off, running in between the guard and the tackle, slipping through a little bit of a crevice. Javon Jackson sneaks ahead for 3.
And you have to go back to that last drive and think of how heartbreaking it was. You bust a 50-plus yard run on the first play of that drive, and you get nothing out of it. You get stopped on downs.
One quick injury note, we have not seen Elijah Lag, the starting tight end, since he was shaken up on a 3rd down catch earlier in this half. Ferguson and Sylvie have been the 2 tight ends on 2nd and 7. Burton near side throw. It is caught. This is Beebe. Solomon Beebe, who's had a quiet day. Explosive all-purpose back, entering today top 10 in the country, averaging 126 all-purpose yards per game.
And you see right there, they're playing a zone concept. A good job by BB avoiding the defensive player on the outside, getting the first down. And that's what you're looking for if you're UAB. Get the ball to your playmakers on the outside. I think for Rice, you've got to be aggressive in that zone coverage. You know they're looking for the short underneath routes.
First catch of the day for BB. He now has a reception in every game this year. First down, Burton rolling right, eyes open downfield, threw it behind the tight end. Just trying to hit Sibley, the redshirt sophomore. Kane with the coverage for Rice.
And he had 2 tight ends out in coverage right there. He wanted to go with the underneath route to Antonio Ferguson, but the defense did a good job of bracketing Ferguson. And when Burton got to the outside, the front defender got pressure on Burton to make him release the football to try and get it down the field to Sibley, excuse me.
It has been Ryder Burton today since the opening whistle. 2nd down and 10. Burton miscommunication, not on the same page. And a 3rd down coming up.
And this is a huge 3rd down. I think they have to convert this 3rd down. You're not in the area of the field where you will go for it on 4th down. So I think this is a must conversion here. If not, I think they're going to have to punt the ball. You don't want to try and go for it on 4th down if you don't convert this deep in your own territory. But once again, if you get the ball back to Rice, they've been able to eat up clock. And do you want to do that and put yourselves in danger of not getting the football offensively again?
Isaiah Jacobs, the running back, 3rd down. Burton feeling the heat, can take off and run if he wants. Instead, still looking. Now he starts to begin his ignition upfield, but a little too late. Like he missed his window of opportunity there, and a 4th down for UAB. And again, both defenses really buckling in late.
Smart play by Ephraim Dotson. He stayed back. He didn't come up on Burton. He knew Burton had too many yards to try and be able to beat him to the sticks. He made Burton make the decision to run the football. And once he made that decision, then he closed in. But that's what you have to do, because what Burton was looking for him to do is come up aggressively, which would have allowed him to dump the ball over.
Flag is down. Foley with a high arcing punt. Fair catch signal for the 30 by Dickman.
Now what's interesting is if it's a 5-yard penalty on the defense, that would convert this to a 1st down.
Illegal formation, kicking team, more than 4 players in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. 1st down, Rice.
You had to know that Rice coach Scott Abel was breathing heavy when he saw that flag, saying, no, please don't be on our defense. Now, we talked about it, Sean. Can the Rice offense eat up the rest of this clock? And if they don't, can they force UAB to use their timeouts? So if UAB is able to get the ball back, they get the ball back without any timeouts. That should be the focus. The ball should not go in the air. You challenge your offensive lineman to say, hey, guys, I need a drive. I need a couple of 1st down conversions. We win this football game.
High-energy defensive coordinator Steve Russ asking his defense to come up with one more stop as Rice begins from the 35-yard line, and all of a sudden there is no answer for Jonathan Allen. Dominating the interior on the last couple of series. this offensive line, no answer for number 34.
Well, what he's doing, he's using that ability to get up the field with that short area quickness. He's playing with leverage, playing lower than the offensive lineman, and then he's disengaging and getting to the ball carrier. What he's able to do is identify where the ball is, disengage, and get a body on a body. But if I'm Rice, I'm taking my time. I'm not in a rush. I want to use the entire play clock.
Milking it all the way down. Chase Jenkins on 2nd and 10. Takes a snap with 3 on the play clock. Hands it off to Turner. Turner trying to weave his way through a lot of defenders. Slices his way for 2 yards. Devin Hightower tracking him down. 3rd down.
And the thing about this is Rice is able to convert this 3rd down. Now you force UAB to look to use their timeouts and also the 2-minute timeout as well. So UAB, if they allow them to convert this convert this 3rd down, you know you've got 4 opportunities to stop the clock and possibly get the ball back. For Rice, I think right here you want to try and get the 1st down, but you definitely want to run the football.
3rd down. It looked like some confusion by Rice.
30-second timeout.
So they are going to burn the first of their timeouts. Want to make sure everybody is on the same page for this 3rd and 8. Scott Abel, year 1, Longwood College graduate. He was an excellent baseball player in college. He described it as football was his first love, but he was better at baseball. Actually made it through the Royals organization before finding his way back to the gridiron. Spent a number of years at the high school level, and then the job that he did at Davidson, a program that had 10 consecutive losing seasons before his arrival, guiding them to a couple of Pioneer League championships and 3 playoffs at the FCS level.
And you know, Sean, the play that I like is the play that they scored the last touchdown on to Aaron Turner. The misdirection, everybody going to the right, sneaking Turner back across the backside of the offensive formation. He was uncovered the last time. I think that's a play you may look at possibly.
So you won't have a problem with them putting it up in the air, the big risk.
Well, it's a short throw, a safe throw.
They go safe call here, and they want to keep the clock rolling. Jenkins for 3. And UAB, I got to believe, is going to use the first of their 3 timeouts, and they will. So terrific job by Steve Russ.
UAB.
And the Blazer defense.
2:44 on the game clock. 2:44 on the game clock. This is a 30-second timeout.
They come up with another stop, and they give their offense another crack at it.
And basically with the 2-minute timeout, you've got 3 timeouts if you're UAB right here.
A lot of talk throughout the week with this game. When you looked at it on paper and saw the numbers, they thought this one might be a high-scoring game, one of the wild American games that we've seen over the last couple of weeks where offenses are just moving it up and down the field, but that has not been the case. These 2 defenses have played very well this afternoon. Paqueta back to punt. Hooks waiting the kick around his own 20-yard line. If UAB comes after it, if they're going to set up the return, and it is going to be the return they try to set up. This is returnable. Line drive kick. Hooks patient, surveys, now directing traffic. Hooks across the 40, tripped up at the 45-yard line just as he was ready to kick it into another gear, and there was a lot of green space in front of him. 45 yards on the return by Hooks.
And if you saw what Hooks did, he waited. He allowed his blocking to get set up. He let all the defenders get on top of him. You see him pointing, knowing where he wants to go with the football and looking at the blocking assignments being picked up. A good job of giving his team great field position. Now with Hooks, I think you need to bracket him. Do not allow Hooks to beat you. You know what he's been able to do throughout the afternoon. He's been able to get on top of those defenders when he's gotten man coverage on the outside. I think he is the most dangerous receiver for this UAB team. So you've got to realize where he is at all times and not allow him to get on top of you if you're a defensive back. And also, don't give clean breaks. I think they need to get touches off the line of scrimmage.
First time that Burton has wanted to run the ball, a design draw as he takes it to the 49.
And you saw what they did. They had bunch formation at the top of the screen. You've got linemen out there, so what you're doing is you're trying to confuse the defense.
Burton rushes for 5, second down. As we approach the 2-minute timeout, and he is going to go deep. Receiver has a step, ball hanging up into the air, and it's incomplete. It hovered just a little bit too long as they tried to hit BB.
And watch Peyton Stevenson, number 9, get his arm in there right as the ball is arriving on top of the receiver. The receiver had him beat on the outside, but Peyton Stevenson able to get his arm in there right at the end of that. But Solomon BB had beat him down the field.
A little bit more distance on that throw, and UAB is celebrating 6. Instead, 3rd down and 5. Burton pressure, and he is caught. Sacked back at the 41. Banish was in there along with
That's a 2-minute timeout.
and Tony
Full timeout on the
Iniembu.
field.
All 3 converging on the quarterback. The Rice defense stepping up big one more time. Their 4th sack of the day. 4th down coming up for UAB. Rice defense working on the second half shutout. They lead at 24-17. Alex Mortensen, the interim head coach, looking for this 4th down play. 4th and 12 for UAB. They need to get it to the Rice 46.
And Rice has 2 deep safeties. They're playing cover 2 right here.
3 receivers to the right. Burton will step in and undershoot his intended receiver. Nowhere close. Looking for Iverson hooks. And how about the job for John Kay, the defensive coordinator, and the Owl defense this afternoon?
They showed a defense they had not shown all afternoon, and I think that confused the young quarterback. And also, you've got Burton trying to throw off of his back foot on that play. You've got to get your feet set. You've got to put the ball where your receiver can try to make a play on it. There was not even an opportunity for the receiver to try to make a play on the football. Now, if you're Rice, you've got to run the football, make them use the remaining timeouts, and hope you can run the clock out.
UAB can stop the clock 2 more times. On first down, they will give the ball to Jackson, who spun into a big hit there from Smalls. So go back to the last fourth down.
UAB.
And the missed opportunity for UAB.
30 seconds in length.
And you see the receivers right here. Right there, that's where he wants to go at the football, but he did not put enough on it. You've got to get the ball out in the area for Hooks. Hooks is able to high point the football, able to fight for the football. Hooks is one of those receivers that you want to get the ball in space, but what they did was they showed cover 2. They dropped 2 deep safeties, keeping everything in front of them. They played man underneath, and what the quarterback has to do is set his feet and put enough air under the football, get it out into an area where Hooks can possibly make a play on it. If he can't get to it, hope that the defender interferes with Hooks and put you in a position to get the first down. But Hooks never had an opportunity to even make a play on the football the way the ball was thrown to the outside.
The previous play is under further review for a potential targeting foul.
Oh boy, so this comes in late. They will take a look at possible targeting. Eamon Smalls, who had the big hit. Jackson pretty much gift wrapped the spin.
But did he leave with
Smalls?
his head?
Yeah, that's what we're going to take a look at here as they go upstairs.
Did he leave with the crown of his helmet?
On a day in which UAB has committed 11 penalties, a 12th might be the final nail in the coffin today as we take another look at it.
And it's, you have to wonder, let's see, I mean, he's putting his helmet down, and you do see the crown of the helmet.
That's the first criteria. Is it the crown of the helmet
now
making the impact with the runner, with the crown?
Now the question I have is, okay, well, let's look at that first of all. Forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless opponent and any forcible hit by the helmet crown. Now you see a forcible hit with the crown of the helmet because he puts his head down. I think if he would have led with his shoulders, but right there, I think they're going to call that. But also my question is, if they do call this targeting, does UAB get that timeout back? Because if they don't, then they only have 1 timeout, and at that point, Rice can just run the clock out.
Yeah, they would be given the timeout back.
Okay, that's the question I would have. And I don't think it was anything malicious.
Even Smalls talked about the impact he has had defensively this year, having a really career year. He's battled some injuries early on. Had his first career sack last week against UConn.
I'll tell you what.
This is a big call coming up. The glimmer of hope that UAB still has. It could be diminished if this goes the way we both think it will. Let's listen in to our referee, Reed Jackson.
After review, there is no foul for targeting. It'll be second down, Rice.
All right, so no targeting. Smalls stays in the game. UAB granted the second timeout, 2nd and 11.
And I agree, there was nothing malicious there. He's making a play, and I think Quentin Jackson is spinning. You have to remember, too, Quentin Jackson is 5'7", and Smalls is 6'2", so you've got a 5-inch height differential.
UAB still with 1 timeout. Turner joins Jackson in the backfield. This is Jackson over the left side. UAB will use their 3rd and final timeout. Stop the clock with 1:42.
Timeout. UAB, their 3rd and final of the half. 30-second timeout.
Go back through the course of this football game. UAB led at halftime 17-14, and I don't think too many had on the big board a 10-0 score in the second half for Rice. Again, the defense really for both of these coordinators, Steve Russ and John Kay on the opposite side for the Owls.
Well, you look at that last scoring drive by UAB before the half. They were able to get the ball down the field in 55 seconds to put a score on the board to take the lead going into the half. but some of the adjustments that were made by the Rice defense in the second half, I think they've been able to confuse the young quarterback Burton, make him think that he's seeing something pre-snap that he doesn't see post-snap. And I think that's been what they've been able to do to kind of confuse him and keep them from getting able to get the ball down the field. Now, they did have that big run, that big 50-plus yard run, but I think them being able to get the stop on 4 downs and stop them kind of, put them where they needed to be defensively to keep them scoreless.
3rd down and 9. Jenkins still has the pitch option, goes to it late, but Turner is piled up. So Rod Bryant was the first one, and plenty of help, including Eddie Tewsome. And UAB will get the ball back with a little less than a minute to go in this football game as they send out Baqueta one more time.
And if I'm Rice, I take the delay of game. I take as much time off the clock, or I use one of my timeouts, but I go all the way down. I don't leave any time on the play clock.
Hooks, a dangerous return man, awaiting the punt at his 10. Baqueta coming into this game has 10 punts of 60 or more yards over the last 6 games. Showcasing some of his strong leg here, a little bit too much muscle. And UAB 80 yards away without a timeout. Can they find some late magic on the road, trying to snap a 16-game road losing skid?
Now, if you're Rice, a couple of things you don't mind happening. If they catch the ball and it's not a first down, make the tackle. You want that to happen. For UAB, you cannot give up a sack. You cannot. That's the one thing you can't do. You have to tell Burton, you cannot give, if you don't see it, if it's not there the way it's drawn up, get outside the pocket, throw the ball out of bounds, get it past the line of scrimmage.
A big first half for Ryder Burton in his 2nd career start, but he has been off in this 2nd half. From the 20-yard line, he will take off, pick up the first down, and he will V-line it out of bounds and stops the clock. 19 yards for Burton.
Smart play by Burton. You saw man coverage underneath. They're dropping into a zone on the back half of that defense. Everybody's got their back turned to him. Get positive yards, get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
First time that he has played the role of the come-from-behind quarterback. They played with the lead against Memphis a couple of weeks ago in the upset win. 1st and 10 from the 39. Burton feeling the heat. Dangerous throw. Somehow finds the mark. Then it's jarred free, but it rolls out of bounds. Caleb Brown, the transfer from Iowa.
And they've got that funky formation. They've got an offensive lineman set
fumble
outside.
Out of bounds. Clock will start on my signal.
They got an offensive lineman set over on the outside, 2 offensive linemen with the receiver to the outside.
Kyrick Mason, the big tackle along the side, taking a shot down the seam. Receiver out there, unable to make the catch. Kane, they nearly picked it off the deflection. Iverson Hooks normally brings those in. The skidding attempt comes up just short.
And he had what he wanted. And what you're seeing also is a linebacker on the outside with the receiver and those linemen coming from the side of the formation. So Burton needs to pay attention to that, because he's got someone coming from his blind side. But you see this funky formation. Once again, only 3 offensive linemen. The other 2 are set out by the receiver, kind of as personal protectors.
3rd down and 3. 3-man rush. Burton is going to take off. Now throws it laterally. Making the catch behind a couple of the offensive linemen is Caleb Brown. That was a lateral pass backwards to Brown, who picks up 10, stops the clock with 13 seconds to go.
But if you're UAB, you've got to look to get vertical now, because you've only got 13 seconds. But you see, once again, he gets up, he's able to throw the ball over laterally, get it to receiver. You see those 2 offensive linemen out there as protectors to give him blocking on the outside to get up the field. But they've got to look to be vertical right here.
Miller, the receiver, to the top. Hawkins and Hooks, twin set to the bottom. Split backs, first down, and Rice is going to use a timeout.
And you see some Rice players with their hands on their hips. And I think if you're Rice, you're saying to yourself, if we get a sack, we end this football game. So I like this timeout. Allow your defense to regroup. Get some fresh legs in there. decide what's going to be your best defensive package. You understand what they're doing. They're showing that funky lineup with 3 linemen, 2 linemen out on the outside to protect. I don't think you have to worry about that receiver with those 2 linemen on the outside, because that's not getting you the vertical yards that you need with only 13 seconds left. You don't mind giving up that pass, but if he catches it and runs it, now you're putting yourself in a position where there's possibly only one more play left.
A 3-game season is how Scott Abel described it, starting this weekend with UAB, and then they are loaded. North Texas and South Florida to close out the year. You see why these 2 teams felt this was a must-get.
And for those safeties, you've got to drop deep, keep everything in front of you. Don't give a clean release on the outside to those receivers. Disrupt the timing.
A lot of pre-snap shifting for the receiving core. They put 3 left, 1 right. That's Milliner to the bottom. First down and 10. They'll take a shot toward the sideline. Incomplete. The tight end Ferguson. Rice will give that throw all day. 8 seconds to go.
And I don't think the 2 safeties are dropping back enough. I want to see them drop back more. Be more aggressive with your drops. Now we're seeing more of a quarters look on the back end of that defense. Okay. We've got 2 deep safeties again.
Will this be the final play where they take the shot deep? Second down and 10. Nope, they're going to go to the sideline one more time, and now it comes down to the heave into the end zone for Ryder Burton and UAB.
And I almost think that it was best that he didn't catch that ball, because if he's not able to get out of bounds before those 3 seconds, the time would have run out. You've got to throw it to the end zone right here.
Laser program so hungry for a win on the road, and it will come down to 1 final play.
Their 3rd and final of the half.
And if you're Coach Abel, what you're telling your defense is, don't go for the interception. Knock the ball down. Too often you see guys trying to make the big interception, the big play. No, the play to make is knocking the ball down. Do not allow the ball to careen off of someone because you try to intercept it and it bounces off of your hands. Knock it down. Get the ball out the air and don't interfere. Play the football, not the player.
Day in which UAB has outgained Rice 315 to 232. Big pat on the top of the helmet as Banish checks out. North Texas, South Florida, then they finish up the year at Tulsa for Alex Mortensen. 45 yards away from where UAB needs to be. 3-man rush. They drop 8 into coverage. Burton just trying to clear an open passing lane where he can get all of his body into the throw. He establishes that. He lets her fly into the end zone. Knocked down by Rice, and the Owls win 24-17. A happy homecoming on South Main.
Hold the sidelines. The game is not over. Game's not clear. Both teams.
And I think this was an illegal forward pass.
That's the end of the game.
But Coach Abel is going to, of course, decline that penalty. It looked like Burton was past the line of scrimmage when he released that football.
Knocked down by Omari Porter, the Stanford transfer. Scott Abel watches his defense pitch a second half shutout. Let's check in with Smacker Sheese with Coach Abel.
Coach, it was a nail biter there at the end. What was going through your mind watching that final defensive possession?
Well, the things that you can't control, right? You know, hey, let's not hit the quarterback late. Let's not go for the interception. Let's knock the football down. But you got to trust your coaching. Then you got to trust, that you've prepared for that moment. Our guys just did a fantastic job right there.
Speaking of a fantastic job, no second half points allowed. What can you say about their performance?
Oh, great second half, RD. They really rose to the occasion. And third quarter is huge, right? We get 10 on the board, took control, and then kind of felt like both offenses were tired in the fourth quarter. It was kind of one of those games. So you got to play defense at the end, and we played incredible defense. Really proud of that group.
You get your 5th win with 2 games to go. How do you carry this momentum forward?
Well, that's it, right? One game at a time, 1-0 in each week, and getting win 5 was huge for us in this program. Back to even slate, and now, hey, we'll begin to work on number 6.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Go Owls.
Thank you very much, Smacker. Rice has not had a winning season since 2014, and yet here we are, 2 weeks left for the Owls, and they are sitting at 5-5. They relied on their defense in the second half today.
You see Burton scrambling around trying to find an area to get his feet set to be able to put everything he has into this throw. I thought it was past the line of scrimmage. You saw him right there kind of look over, and, you know, Rice played that kind of close. You know, number 57 got a nice bit of contact on that play, and Aquantis Clemens, you know, you've got to be careful. Don't get a roughing the passer on that play, but a good job by the Rice defense the entire second half to shut down this UAB offense. After that big run, shutting them down, not allowing them to get points on the board, I thought it was big of this defense.
Chase Jenkins, a couple of touchdown passes. Hardiman, the freshman, adds a rushing score. The Rice defense gets to Ryder Burton 5 times this afternoon. Homecoming win for the Rice Owls, 24-17 over UAB. For Forrest Conley, Smacker Miles, this is Sean Kenny saying so long from South Main. All games airing on the ESPN networks and archive on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.